Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Naruto Awakens Haki at the start. Chapter 21. Ninja School. Namikaze Minato is definitely the one at the top. Ninja talent penultimate, talented, otherwise it would not be possible to shine in the Third Ninja War, leaving a legend of Yellow Flash, becoming the youngest Hokage in history. His strength cannot be judged by common sense, and any contempt will pay a large price. Every era has a protagonist, and the protagonist of this era is Sannin, and more importantly, Namikaze Minato. Yi Chen used all his strength from the beginning, not to kill Namikaze Minato, but to take this duel seriously. He stepped on the spot suddenly, leaving a swirl of air under his feet, and his body was shot like a cannonball, and he punched it. This is just the speed of the flesh, not shaving. Even so, it is definitely beyond the reach of the students of the ninja school of the same period. The same Namikaze Minato also moved, with a serious and dignified face. One hand quickly took out the kunai from the ninja bag, and his body flew out like an arrow. Clang! A sound of metal clashing came out. The screen freezes. Yi Chen and Namikaze Minato maintain an attacking posture, and the hardened black iron fist collides with kunai. Sparks splashed everywhere, and with the two at the center, an invisible wave of air spread to the surrounding, forming a strong violent airflow, flying sand and stone. The audience was stunned, afraid to breathe, and did not blink their eyes, for fear of missing any picture. Is this the magic power? Namikaze Minato's brows furrowed, and the pain spread through the palms of his hands to his arms through kunai, his muscles tingling. Even the internal organs were hit, but it was nothing. Immediately, he shot again, the corners of his mouth twitched, and he raised one foot towards Yi Chen's lower plate. Yi Chen was true, and he responded with the same slap. With a bang, another silent sound of silence. Namikaze Minato attacked and quickly attacked Yi Chen with kunai's hand, hitting like a storm. Yi Chen saw the moves, and every punch was hardened with armed color, but Namikaze Minato was able to take them one by one. To know the ordinary ninja, whether it is the previous Uchiha month, Uchiha Chanruo, or Hyuga Mirror facing the strange power of the armed color is a headache. However, Namikaze Minato can deal with it calmly. Of course, this is also the reason why Yi Chen did not burst out with all his strength. You must know that the LV2 full armed color can already break the C-level ninjutsu, not to mention the LV3 armed color. If it really broke out, the result would definitely be death or injury. It's just a duel, it's not worth it. Soon, Yi Chen found out why Namikaze Minato was so calm. Every time the two of them fought, Namikaze Minato would slam his foot on the ground, and then the ground would dent a bit, as if it had been hit by a heavy object. The method of unloading. As expected of the future fourth Hokage, there are so many ninjutsu skills. Yi Chen thought to himself, but then he suddenly increased his speed and strength. Namikaze Minato's pressure suddenly increased, and he did remove most of Yi Chen's strange power by unloading force. But he still endured part of the strange force, and now Yi Chen suddenly exerted his force again. It was indeed a bit uncomfortable. Whoosh! With that in mind, Minato's figure disappeared out of thin air, leaving behind a cloud of smoke. Oh! There was a burst of exclamation from the audience, surprised at the speed of Namikaze Minato. It's over. Yi Chen-kun. Namikaze Minato instantly appeared behind Yi Chen, and kunai was around Yi Chen's waist. Maybe not as strong as Yi Chen, but in terms of speed Namikaze Minato is confident enough to not weak anyone. On the audience stage, what a fast speed. Tsunade frowned, not expecting Namikaze Minato to be such an unexpected kid. Yi Chen seemed to be in trouble. Haha, it doesn't matter who's student. Jiraiya said proudly. Hey, Minato is indeed a genius. And this is a high-level body flicker technique, no need for seals. But Jiraiya is a talented Minato, so don't put gold on your face. Orochimaru said with a smile, but his eyes were on Yi Chen, and he suddenly had anticipation. How should this brat deal with it? Haha. Jiraiya scratched his head a little embarrassedly. He just pointed Minato, but he didn't accept him as a student. Besides, Minato hasn't graduated yet, so it's not easy for him to accept it. So at present, most of Minato's achievements are made by himself and have little to do with him. At the same time, an exclamation came from the audience on the side of the arena. All of them were amazed at Namikaze Minato's wind-like speed, and disappeared without a trace. Looking at the black kunai against his waist, Yi Chen showed a strange smile on his cold face, and said, Minato, are you sure you met me? What? Namikaze Minato heard the words, his pupils shrunk, subconsciously feeling bad, and Kuwu couldn't help stabbing in his hand. Whoosh! Yi Chen's figure, hollow, turned out to be a clone. No, it's an afterimage. If the speed is too fast to a certain extent, it will leave a residual impression on the spot. Are you distracted? At the same time, Yi Chen's indifferent voice came from Minato's ear, and at an extremely fast speed, a black iron fist slammed. Armed-colored hardened fists have far more power than ordinary people, especially the LV3 level armed color, which is even more extraordinary. I saw between Yi Chen's fists and fingers, because of the extremely fast speed and strength, the white air flow overflowed in it, and the strong wind in the air almost turned into reality, making people feel like being blown by a biting cold wind. Oops, can't hide. Namikaze Minato was so shocked that he could only put his hands on his chest to resist. But the power of Yi Chen's punch was too strong, and it broke the kunai in his hand first. Then a huge force swept away Namikaze Minato directly, throwing it like a sandbag, and fell heavily to the ground. Outside the stadium, the audience was amazed and unbelievable. They did not expect the battle to happen so quickly. Jiraiya didn't look good, after all Minato was a student he valued. This kid also has a very strong body flicker technique. Tsunade's beautiful eyes showed brilliance. Hehe, yeah, that's funny. Orochimaru said. On the field, Yi Chen smashed Namikaze Minato into the air with one punch, and he fell to the ground, motionless. However, he didn't show any excitement, instead his face was solemn, because observation haki passively reminded him that the crisis was still there. Sure enough, the next second, a mutation suddenly occurred. The body of Namikaze Minato lying on the ground turned into a piece of rotten wood with a bang. Body replacement technique. Yi Chen was secretly awe-inspiring, but there was no Namikaze Minato at the scene, so there was only one possibility. He raised his head suddenly, and sure enough, Namikaze Minato had already jumped into the air at some point, and his hands were sealed. That speed is dazzling, and 6 seals in 1 second are nothing at all. Ugly Shu Chen Zi Shu Hai Si Yin. Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. Namikaze Minato threw a shuriken from his ninja bag after finishing his print. This black shuriken, 1 becomes 10, 100. And Minato deliberately jumped into the air in order to block all Yi Chen escape routes. I have to say that his thinking is clear, and he can calmly analyze even in the face of difficulties. His peers have already been left behind by him. Namikaze Minato is a genius, but Yi Chen is a monster. Specializing in all kinds of bells and whistles. Nice job, Minato. On the audience stage, Jiraiya shouted with excitement. Replace yourself with the body replacement technique, then jump into the air with the Shuriken Shadow Clone technique. The key is that this ninjutsu is not a simple ninjutsu. In the ninjutsu records, the Shuriken Shadow Clone is an A-level ninjutsu. In the ninja battle, it is a large-scale destructive ninjutsu. A ninja shuriken is enough to clone tens of millions, and the damage is extremely high. Namikaze Minato, a student who hasn't graduated yet, actually has a Mystera level of ninjutsu. It's hard to imagine his talent. Using the body replacement technique instantaneously in a situation like that is terrifying talent. Even Tsunade has to admire Namikaze Minato's ninja talent, which is truly unique. Haha, this is the future of our Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face showed a bright smile, quite happy. Because the Shuriken Shadow Clone technique is his specialty ninjutsu. Looking at Namikaze Minato, it was as if I saw myself following second Hokage to the battlefield. It seems that there is no resentment in this game, Jiraiya said. Although he didn't want to admit Jiraiya's stinky fart, Tsunade couldn't help worrying about Yi Chen at this time. Judging from the strength that Namikaze Minato has shown, he is already Chunin, and he is also the kind of meticulous and talented ninja. Non-Uchiha Jorwana and other ninjas who rely on blood to deceive can be compared. The students around the arena didn't know how to describe this ninja competition, which was a textbook-level ninja confrontation. The switching between body technique, body flicker technique, and body replacement technique is smooth and easy. There is also the A-level ninjutsu Shuriken Shadow Clone technique which added great brilliance to this competition. Many people are stunned and amazed. In any case, this battle is enough to be remembered and called a classic. And the situation on the field is ever-changing, and no one knows what will happen in the next moment. Namikaze Minato used the shuriken shadow clone technique, and the shuriken was overwhelming, completely blocking Yi Chen's retreat. Off the field, Kushina looked worried and clenched her fists tightly to pray for Yi Chen. Yi Chen-kun, you are a formidable opponent. But I must win this duel. After Namikaze Minato performed the shuriken shadow clone technique, he jumped to the ground and landed with serious eyes. Facing the shuriken surrounded on all sides, Yi Chen became calm and raised one arm in a fist-like shape. He could use the shaved teleport to get out of the shuriken's attack range, but he didn't do it. That's too suffocating and doesn't suit his fighting style. He believes that one force can defeat all methods, no matter what fancy attacks you make, all of them are bubbles in the face of absolute power, and they will shatter with one poke. Armed color. Hardened. About half of his arm was covered with armed color. Yi Chen clenched his fist tightly, his muscles suddenly swelled by 3 points, and the surface of his arm was wrapped in white water vapor. That was the phenomenon that caused Armament Haki to push hard. I saw that his body was slightly bent, and his arms were bent into an arc of a bow, constantly accumulating power. There is a faint redness on the skin surface of the whole body. LV3. Armed color. Iron fist. With a loud roar, a punch with almost full strength was swiped towards the air. Boom. The air burst, like a sudden thunder in 9 days. That is tiger leopard thunder sound, even stronger. Bang. On the surface of the fist edge wrapped in white water vapor, a terrifying invisible force rushed out, like a wild horse breaking loose, a tiger descending the mountain, turning into a white air wave, rushing straight into the sky. The space was stagnant, and the hundreds of shuriken flying down unexpectedly stopped in the air for no reason. Then in the next second, the naked eye could see that the surface of the shuriken was broken inch by inch, and cracks spread out, and then it was hit hard and broke. In the end, I saw a boom. The sky-filled shuriken shadow clone seemed to have encountered a stormy sea, and was swept upside down by the invisible punch. Turned into broken iron residues, they fell to the ground like remnants of rain. The audience was silent, breathing could be heard, deathly quiet. A-level ninjutsu shuriken shadow clone technique was actually bombarded with one punch. Is this what a ninja student can do? Impossible, Namikaze Minato murmured, eyes lost. It's impossible. An indifferent voice suddenly came to his ears. Shave. With a swoosh, Yi Chen teleported to Namikaze Minato's side at a faster speed, a kunai pressed against his neck. At this moment, using body flicker technique, body replacement technique, and grade A ninjutsu one after another, no matter how talented Namikaze Minato is. His chakra is almost consumed, even if he can get out of Yi Chen's control with the body flicker technique. But it doesn't make much sense to continue fighting. He couldn't help but bow his head and smiled bitterly. I lost. There was an uproar in the audience, followed by a commotion, and the entire arena was boiling. The first genius of the new ninja school has been born. Yi Chen's face was calm, but his mind was not calm. Ding. Experience plus 20. Experience plus 50. Experience plus 100. Experience plus 200. Experience plus 400. ... In the end, according to the statistics, the whole battle with Namikaze Minato directly added about 1400 experience points. As the protagonist of Hokage in the early stage, it was just a duel, and Namikaze Minato brought him much more experience than the previous dead ghost Uchiha Jiro. And that's not all. After Namikaze Minato conceded defeat, a silver treasure chest appeared out of thin air. Yi Chen resisted his excitement and put it into the system space. Although he put away kunai, he looked at the examiner and said calmly, "Teacher, can you announce the result?" Teacher Chunin was stunned for a moment, then immediately said, "The heaviest winner of the ninja competition, Yi Chen." Vibration outside the arena, the noise is soaring. Namikaze Minato left the arena rather disappointed, without saying a word. As a genius, it is hard to accept a sudden failure. Yi Chen ignored Namikaze Minato and left the field alone and walked off the field. Kushina came over with a group of younger brothers to cheer and celebrate. "Yi Chen, you are so amazing," Kushina praised, feeling extremely happy inside. "Yeah, boss, you're really amazing, my little brother is full of admiration." The little boy with his snot in the back said excitedly, his eyes admiring. "Big boss, what the hell is this called?" Yi Chen couldn't help but smile. But looking at Kushina, who was blushing, and the group of children who cheered him up. Even as withdrawn as he was, there was a gentle smile on that cold face. When the little girls around saw the smile on this cool and handsome guy, their hearts melted, all eyes were full of red hearts, and they were crazy. On the suspended audience stage, it was another scene. This child is good, and he doesn't need to study at the ninja school anymore, it's a waste of time. Entering my roots is the most correct choice. At the entrance, a spiky-haired man came, and the attitude in his words was unquestionable. Seeing the person coming, Sanin's expression changed in the future. Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen's face changed greatly, and he said categorically. Danzo, what do you mean? Hokage office. No, this kid can't join the route. Yi Chen can't, Namikaze Minato even more impossible. Danzo. Sarutobi Hiruzen stood at the window of Hokage's office with a dignified face and a decisive look. Danzo's face with a spiky head on the side is even more arrogant. Others are afraid of the majesty of this Hokage, but he is not afraid. Both of them are disciples of the second generation, and both inherited the thinking of the second generation. Sarutobi Hiruzen is soft, Danzo is cold. One light and one dark complement each other. Yi Chen is just a child from the outer village, wouldn't it be good to join Root? Sarutobi, Root needs such a child to join, don't you understand? Danzo said. Yi Chen is determined, he must become a knife in his hand, his own weapon, fight wherever you want. This is the fate of ninjas. Danzo, don't think I don't know what you're thinking. Use Yi Chen to deal with Uchiha, you're ruining this kid's path as a ninja, he has a better future. The ninja world is about to be turbulent, and Konoha needs this talented ninja, Sarutobi Hiruzen said. So what, a child from the outer village sacrificed, what's wrong? Yi Chen, if you don't agree, then Namikaze Minato, you have to choose one of the two. Danzo said without doubt. No, I won't agree to this, you don't have to say more. Danzo, you have to remember, now I'm Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but snorted and took out the majesty of Hokage. Danzo's hands are clenched and his body is shaking, which is caused by anger. He looked unwilling. He should have taken this position for himself, but this was second Hokage's will and he couldn't go against it. You can only jump into the darkness, take root in the depths of Konoha, do all the things that are not bright, and be hated by people. Danzo was full of anger, and said angrily, Sarutobi, you will regret it. Not to mention Namikaze Minato, Yi Chen, that kid, I think there must be a backside in my head. Don't you know how calm he was when he killed Uchiha, you thought you could control it. Is he? You don't control him now, let alone in the future. Yi Chen killed Uchiha Jiroming, but no one knew about Konoha, but Anbu and Gen watched the whole process from beginning to end. Danzo has already had a hunch. He understands that this child has certain dangers and terrible talents, so he is eager to take control. Danzo, you are wrong, why do you think Konoha can maintain it until now? That is because of the bond between ninjas. Sarutobi Hiruzen said slowly. Humph, ridiculous. Danzo snorted coldly and walked away. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed as he watched his friend drift away from him, and said to the empty office. Come out. When the words fell, only a bang sounded, white smoke spewed out, and a ninja wearing a Jonin vest appeared out of thin air in the center of Hokage's office. This ninja's facial features are sharp and angular, exuding an edge from the inside out, especially his short white hair is particularly prominent among the Jonin. Tsukumo, what do you think of this? Sarutobi Hiruzen watched the man slowly return to his seat. This person is Hatake Tsukumo, the current head of the Hatake family and the father of the future Hatake. One-handed swordsmanship, superb, known as Konoha's White Fang by the village ninja. Even the village ninjas who saw Hatake Tsukumo voluntarily gave up the mission and did not dare to confront him. Hatake Tsukumo looked at third Hokage in front of him with a respectful look on his face, and said, Lord Danzo is still too extreme, this kid might as well join Anbu. Anbu is a place to train ninjas, and it is more suitable for him than Roots. I think so too. Tsukumo, you are the captain of Anbu, Yi Chen is a talented kid, I can rest assured that you can practice. If you really give Danzo, a good seedling will be useless. Third Hokage said. Don't worry, Lord Hokage, this matter is left to your subordinates, Hatake Tsukumo said. Okay, but before I do, I need to see the child. Sarutobi Hiruzen said that he was going to make a private visit to see what Yi-Chen was doing on weekdays. On the border of the Fire Nation, a group of Konoha shinobi hide in the jungle. They are careful and covert their whereabouts all the way. One of the ninjas was Yi-Chen's school teacher Okamoto. Unfortunately, he didn't see Yi-Chen win the ninja competition in the end. I saw him leaning on a big branch, relying on the huge tree trunk to hide his figure, and there was a companion beside him. Okamoto-kun, we must be careful about this secret mission to infiltrate the Land of Rain, and try not to fight against other shinobi villages. The ninja said that his name is Shiranui Schwanwo, he belongs to Anbu, and he is good at tracking and reconnaissance. I understand. Okamoto smiled wryly. They are just chunin, not worth mentioning for the battle between the sprawling ninja villages. During this time period, although the major ninja villages have not yet fought, they are still in danger. If they encounter an ambush, the weaker ones are fine. Facing the powerful ninja village, they will die. This is the fate of ninjas, knowing that they are dead, but they will still carry out orders. At this moment, their team rested for a while. Okamoto looked in the direction of Konoha, thoughtful. And not far from where they were resting, a wooden lizard puppet instantly drilled into the ground. Konoha village, the place behind the mountain. In a forest, the wind blows from time to time, bringing the leaves with a rustling sound. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of regular blows came out. Yi-Chen was standing in front of a thick wooden stake, constantly punching on the stake. It is worth noting that the surface of the wooden pile is covered with a thick layer of iron, 2 or 3 centimeters. There was a deep depression on the iron sheet of the stake, and Yi-Chen's fist was still punching in the depression one after another. In the depression, there is a faint Madara bloodline. Although Yi-Chen's fist had a bandage wrapped around it, the bandage had already been stained with blood, intertwined with blood and sweat. Such constant punches, hundreds of thousands of times. Eyes are persistent, full of perseverance. Even with Conqueror's Haki and Devil Fruit abilities, Yi-Chen still did not relax his training. This is the second day of the ninja competition, and he is training himself, training the devil, and also reflecting on the battle with Namikaze Minato. What? Yi-Chen frowned. Observation Haki sensed someone around him. Shun Quan suddenly turned around, but saw a dwarf wearing a gray shirt and casual clothes standing behind him. Who else could this dwarf be if he wasn't third Hokage? Yi-Chen was shocked. He only noticed Sarutobi Hiruzen when he came to him at third Hokage. The strength of this guy is really terrifying. But a cage-level powerhouse. He quickly put away his emotional ups and downs and bowed. Have seen third Hokage. Hee, kid, don't be so restrained. Third Hokage waved his hands and smiled. But when he saw the deep dent on Yi-Chen's iron stake in the bloodline, his pupils shrank. I am amazed in my heart. It is not without reason that this child has such a strong strength at such an age. Konoha, under the sunset. Sarutobi Hiruzen, Yi-Chen, an old man and a young man officially met for the first time. Of course, this was a private visit from Third Hokage's micro-server. Even in the hereafter, the old man would pretend to visit Naruto from time to time. Yi-Chen is not surprised by this. Training here alone, why not play with other students? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked. Yi-Chen heard the words, he understood that it was Sarutobi Hiruzen who was testing himself, thought about it and replied. Lord Hokage, you know it. I am a survivor of the small ninja village. I recognize the cruelty of the ninja world, so I need strength to protect myself. Just to protect myself, Sarutobi Hiruzen said seemingly casually. Naturally, there are also important people to protect, and this village that has saved my life. Yi-Chen's face was not red, and he said without a heartbeat, and tied himself and Konoha all at once. He really has no intention of being an enemy of Konoha village, especially when he is still a hidden dragon. There is no need to cause trouble. It's just that if Konoha insists on forcing him, then he must also make a choice. Hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded, satisfied with Yi-Chen's answer. Ninjas not only want to kill, but also have a guardian heart to maintain that layer of fetters. What's the difference between that and the Walking Dead if not? Only in this way, the fire of Konoha, can the spirit of Konoha be passed on forever. In this regard, Third Hokage has a kind expression on his face, saying, Son, it's really good for you to think so. These days, we Konoha have slacked you. In fact, I hope you can understand the current situation. The major ninja villages compete for the chassis and are hostile to each other. The same is true of Konoha. Ordinary people hate war, so they are hostile to foreign village ninjas. I hope you can understand. Quote. After Yi Chen heard it, he said, I can understand, Lord Hokage, this is human nature. He is not a 3-year-old child, or an angry youth, and he can't stand any grievances. In order to be respected, the two must first stand in the same position, otherwise everything will be avoided. Sarutobi Hiruzen is very happy, Yi Chen is very good, but he is free to talk. He is willing to spend some effort to cultivate such a junior, and then said. Yi Chen, you have offended the Uchiha family, their family will not be kind to this matter. I hope Lord Hokage will decide for me. Yi Chen folded his fists and said, throwing the pot to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Ha ha, Sarutobi Hiruzen chuckled, that was what he wanted, and said. The Uchiha family is a Konoha family after all, the family strength is not small, even the Hokage has some headaches. Yi Chen, with your strength, you don't need to continue your studies at ninja school. Come to Anbu to report. When you arrive in Anbu, you are the direct troops of Hokage, and even the Uchiha clan can't help you. Quote. Thank you Lord Hokage, Yi Chen said. You don't need to thank me, you should have done it with your strength. Sarutobi Hiruzen laughed. Yi Chen took a deep breath and joined Anbu was the safest way at the moment. Moreover, Anbu has a lot of ninja quests to take, so he must have a lot of training, which is very beneficial to his cultivation. He looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen, thought for a moment, and finally asked. Lord Hokage, why didn't you see my teacher Okamoto during the competition? Okamoto, he has a secret mission to do and has left Konoha village. Third Hokage explained. Of course, it didn't say what the specific task was. Yi Chen's current rank is obviously not qualified to understand. But even if Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't say anything, Yi Chen knew what happened. The second ninja war is coming soon. Today's major ninja villages in the ninja world will not be content with the status quo, and they all want to snatch resources, snatch the chassis, and expand their forces. Especially the land of wind and the ninja village of sand. They are located in a desert area, with a harsh environment and lack of resources. They are neighbors with Konoha, and they are always thinking about grabbing Konoha's land. In fact, they are still very envious and jealous of Konoha. In the land of fire, the land of Konoha can be said to be the most fertile and dynamic of the 5 major countries. Is this Konoha village born with rich land, lots of vegetation and fresh air? Of course not, all rely on the first-generation Hokage of the legend of the ninja world, Senju Hashirama. This Senju Hashirama walks around the country of fire, and from time to time comes a wood style, a forestation technique, which builds a large artificial forest in minutes. If this is drought and water shortage, Senju Tobarama, the second-generation director, also has a water style, great waterfall technique. Who is better than Senju Hashirama when it comes to wood style? Who is better than Senju Tobarama when it comes to water style? With such a favorable time and place, who is not envious of Konoha? After the death of the first generation and second generation, is there still peace in the ninja world? Who doesn't want to expand their power, especially Konoha's unique advantage, who doesn't covet? Yi Chen thought about it a lot, so he tried his best to improve his strength and not let himself become cannon fodder. If the war situation is bad, their younger generation may go to the battlefield ahead of schedule. In the Third Ninja War, wars such as Kakashi and Uchiha Obito spawned many children. After that, Third Hokage chatted with Yi Chen about some daily issues, and then slowly left. Yi Chen watched Sarutobi Hiruzen's back, silently planning the future in his heart. Now he doesn't need to go to the ninja school, and he also has certain plans for his future. After a while of physical training and physical strength training alone, he went back to the house to take a shower and began to reckon with Namikaze Minato's battle. Open the Properties panel. Host, Yi Chen. Abilities, Conqueror's Haki LV2, Observation Haki LV2, Armament Haki LV3, Tornado Profound Truth LV2, Shave LV2, 10,000 experience points are required to upgrade to the next level. Fruit, Mara Mara Fruit LV2, it takes 1000 experience to upgrade to the next level. Experience 1650 10,000ths. Quote, is it to improve Conqueror's Haki, or to improve the ability of Mara fruit? Yi Chen was in a tangle. This time the ninja match did not reveal the ability of Mara fruit. For him, this is a trump card. To be honest, in the ninja world, if you don't leave some trump cards on your body, you will probably die faster. After weighing it up, improving strength is the last word. Finally, choose to upgrade Mara fruit. System, upgrade Mara fruit. Yi Chen said. Immediately, the experience value disappeared from 1000 to 605, and the Mara fruit level became LV3, the same level as Armament Haki. Yi Chen felt that the devil fruit power in his body had grown a lot in an instant, which was different from Chakra's power, very special. The LV2 armed color Yi Chen can barely smash the C-level ninjutsu, and the LV3 armed color can directly smash the C-level ninjutsu. Class C ninjutsu represents the ninjutsu controlled by Chunin. After that, it even killed the Namikaze Minato A-level shuriken shadow clone technique. Of course, it's not that A-level ninjutsu is not strong, but Namikaze Minato can't play the full power of A-level ninjutsu at present. Combining his own abilities, combined with Haki and Devil Fruit, Yi Chen is a genin, but his real combat power is at the level of elite Chunin, and he is stronger. After upgrading the Devil Fruit level, Yi Chen took out the silver treasure chest in the system, which was a reward chest immediately after the battle with Namikaze Minato. It was not the first time to open the treasure chest, so Yi Chen was not so excited and could take it lightly. The treasure chest automatically opened slowly, and a white light overflowed from the gap. A silver card was suspended in the treasure chest. Yi Chen took a look at it, and then a message was transmitted into his mind. The moonwalk of Marine 6 styles uses a strong foot force to step on the air, creating a strong airborne force, which can walk in the air like stepping on stairs, but cannot stay in the air for too long. A smile appeared on Yi Chen's face, which was a pleasant surprise. Shao and moonwalk can be considered complementary. Shao is also a high explosive movement made by stepping on the spot more than 10 times with strong foot strength in an instant, just like an instant movement. Moonwalk is to jump into the air and step on the air with strong foot force to move in the air for a short time. Afterwards, Yi Chen used the remaining experience points to upgrade moonwalk to LV2, which could make moonwalk move longer. In the early morning of the next day, Yi Chen's remote hut welcomed an unexpected guest again. The princess of the Senju clan, Senju Tsunade. At this time, Yi Chen was sweating profusely doing difficult exercises, exercising his physical strength, and challenging the limits, and he didn't pay much attention to when Tsunade would arrive. Tsunade was wearing a tight-fitting, pale yellow corset, and rolled up his sleeves to reveal his slender arms as white as bamboo shoots. The blonde hair is casually tied with a headband and hangs down at the waist, walking back and forth, with a pair of clogs and slippers on his feet, which is quite lazy and casual. Tsunade folded his hands on his chest and looked at Yi Chen, who was dripping with sweat, who hammered the iron stakes over and over again with his bare upper body. The tightly wound bandages were completely soaked in blood and sweat, and even she couldn't help but be moved. I am afraid that he is far inferior at his age, and he lived a carefree childhood under the protection of his grandfather. In an instant, Tsunade felt pity for the boy who was 10 years younger than her. Perhaps this is the nature of a woman, she is very emotional and easily moved. Tsunade couldn't help but say, "Why such a lifeless training, kid?" Yi Chen's fist-swinging motion paused, and out of the corner of his eye saw Tsunade's arrival. "I only trust my fists." After speaking, "Continue training, keep waving your fists, 100 strokes, 200 strokes, 300 strokes. 100 side kicks, 300. At the end of the whole body exercise, constantly forcing yourself to challenge the limit." In addition to Conqueror's Haki's own abilities, Yi Chen found that as the level of Conqueror's Haki increased, his physique was also quietly changing, becoming stronger and harder. Think about the quality of ordinary people in pirates, that is really very powerful. At the back, except for Conqueror's Haki, ordinary Marines basically have two-color Haki or single-color Haki, and their strength should not be underestimated. Although it is painful to challenge the physical limit, Yi Chen enjoys the feeling of getting stronger. After about an hour, he finished training. Looking back, Tsunade was still there, sitting there with a stool at some point, looking like a bored teenage girl. Tsunade noticed Yi Chen's gaze and asked casually. Is training over? Well, that's right, Yi Chen replied calmly. I understand that you can beat Namikaze Minato, the first genius of the ninja school, at such a young age. It's completely lifeless training. As he spoke, Tsunade stood up and walked towards him. You don't have enough talent, try to make it together, Yi Chen said. Tsunade has come to Yi Chen. She is about half a head taller than Yi Chen. Those dark brown eyes carefully looked at the boy beside him, and said seriously. Haha, a lot of times. Some people don't necessarily get results even if they work hard. I really don't know how you kid did it. After speaking, he stretched out that slender arm and grabbed it with 5 fingers. Yi Chen subconsciously wanted to avoid, this was his instinctive reaction. But observation Haki didn't feel any malice at all, and the person in front of him was Tsunade, so he instantly calmed down. Don't be alarmed. Tsunade looked approving. Her arms were placed on Yi Chen's shoulders, and at this moment Yi Chen was not wearing a shirt, and the surface of her skin was covered in sweat. The distance between the two was so close that they could almost hear their breathing and heartbeat. Tsunade's hands are very soft and warm like water. Yi Chen felt that the surface of the skin that Tsunade had not touched was hot and numb, a feeling that he had never experienced in his life. Dong dong dong. After all, although it is a child's body, its soul is an adult's, and it is easy to imagine it. I can't help but bow my head, not daring to meet Tsunade's eyes. After all, this woman is indeed very attractive. Afraid that Tsunade would find out about his abnormality, it would be embarrassing. Strange, kid, why is your body so hot all of a sudden? Tsunade's palm rested on his shoulder, and he could feel Yi Chen's changes most. She couldn't help looking down at Yi Chen, and after thinking for 2 seconds, a mysterious hint appeared on that beautiful face, and said. Ha ha ha, kid, you are shy. No, Yi Chen turned his head and said coldly, he would not admit his embarrassment. Cut. Tsunade obviously didn't believe it, looking at Yi Chen with an old Siji's eyes, his lips curled up. Konoha Sanin, also known as Konoha 3 poisons. That is, pornography, gambling and drugs. Sanin has been hanging around all the year round, and naturally knows each other well. Tsunade is young, but he knows everything he should know and shouldn't know. Hey, my charm. Tsunade couldn't help sighing, even a child couldn't resist his own charm. However, in the ninja world, it is normal for children to mature early. Tsunade looked at Yi Chen, who was deliberately cold-faced, and didn't make fun of him. Then he put away his playful heart, his eyes became serious, and he mobilized chakra to help Yi Chen recover from the internal injuries. Yi Chen, who was pretending to be cold, was startled because he felt a magical force penetrate into his body. This power is very pure and full of healing. He couldn't help looking at the soft circle of light in Tsunade's palm, and suddenly realized that Tsunade was using medical ninjutsu to heal himself. What a sweet and kind girl. Tsunade's chakra is full of vitality. After entering the body, it runs along the internal organs, and all fatigue and injuries are swept away. At this moment, it feels like soaking in warm spring water, so comfortable and unforgettable. If time can be frozen, then Yi Chen hopes that time will be temporarily frozen in this second. Soon after, Tsunade took back the chakra, ending the special session. As the first ninja in the ninja world, Tsunade is indeed worthy of the name. Healing ninjutsu is really superb, it can be called a miracle. In the Fourth Ninja World War, he was pierced by Susa of Uchiha Madara and cut into 2 pieces. After moving a little bit, there was no pain in the muscles around, so he could fight again, and his spirit was exceptionally good. Tsunade recovered a little, and then slowly said. Originally, I thought that you would train your body so hard, and you would leave a lot of hidden injuries if you exceed your physical load. But I just checked your body, and you are as strong as a calf without any hidden injuries. It seems that I thought too much. Really, Yi Chen was slightly surprised. In fact, Yi Chen was worried about whether he would leave a dark injury after training so hard. But for the sake of strength, he put this issue behind him again. Now listening to Tsunade, an expert, I feel a lot more relaxed. This change may be related to Conqueror's Haki. After upgrading to LV3, Yi Chen clearly felt his body transform. Whether it is defense, speed, strength, and recovery capabilities are greatly increased, not comparable to ordinary ninjas. In the original One Piece, Garp still maintains his peak physical fitness in his old age, perhaps 80% is also because he cultivated Haki to a very profound state. As far as the accomplishments of Haki are concerned, even the 4 emperors are probably slightly inferior to Garp. Kid, 3rd generation said you're going to join Anbu. Tsunade said. Well, thank you Lord Hokage for your cultivation. Yi Chen said lightly. Hey, joined Anbu. I'm afraid I won't see you in the open, kid. Tsunade sighed. Could it be that Anbu restricts the freedom of life? Yi Chen couldn't help but say that if this is the case, he has to plan something else. It doesn't restrict freedom. Anbu works for 3rd Hokage. They are often given classified assignments, so there is a good chance that they will leave Konoha village. And Anbu's identity is secret. After entering Anbu, it is impossible for me to know your identity in Anbu. Tsunade explained, very patient. That's it, thank you. Yi Chen said. It's alright, it's not a secret, you'll find out when the time comes. Tsunade waved his hand, not caring at all. Yi Chen looked at Tsunade in front of him. Beautiful women were indeed sought after by many men. A beautiful and beautiful woman is a man's love. The current Tsunade is youthful and lively, beautiful and moving, with a carefree and straightforward manner, and has not been influenced by the general environment of the ninja world. If it wasn't for his young age, Yi Chen wouldn't be sure that this would be the dream lover of countless otaku men in later generations, and he couldn't help asking. Sister Tsunade, why are you being so nice to me? What did you just call me? Tsunade's expression changed, he couldn't believe it, thinking he had hallucinations. Sister Tsunade, Yi Chen said without shyness. Tsunade is older than him, and he is his savior, and now he is helping himself to heal. This sister is naturally well deserved. Ha ha ha. After listening to Tsunade, he couldn't help but laugh. When this ruthless brat was still so polite, he said, call again for my sister. Ha ha. Yi Chen rolled his eyes at Tsunade. Tsunade wasn't angry either, he was satisfied to hear this kid call his sister, and said slowly. You were the one who rescued the village, and I have to be responsible for you. Oh, Yi Chen replied, looking thoughtful. Tsunade looked at Yi Chen's immature face and thought of his younger brother Nawaki. It would be nice if Nawaki could be self-reliant and sensible like Yi Chen. It's a pity that this crane tail does nothing at the ninja school all day, and wants to be a Hokage every day. It's a pity that her strength is really messed up. Her sister can't stand it. After thinking about it, Tsunade took out a white scroll from his arms and gave it to Yi Chen as if he had made up his mind. What is this? Yi Chen asked strangely. How to cultivate strange power and my experience in the practice of strange power. You happen to have strange power blood and it may help you. Tsunade said. However, Yi Chen didn't answer, shook his head and said, this is too precious, I can't accept it. When Tsunade heard this, he frowned and put it into Yi Chen's arms, and said with a serious expression. Little devil, this is a gift for you to call my sister. And you may encounter any danger when you join Anbu. With more strength, more security. After speaking, without waiting for Yi Chen's reaction, he left the place with a bang from the body flicker technique. This caught Yi Chen by surprise, and the scroll in his arms suddenly became heavy. For a while, I still felt the long-lost warmth in this village. During the day, Yi Chen went to the ninja school again, and applied with the teacher to graduate early to become a genin. For Yi Chen, the ninja school teacher naturally knew him and knew that he was a genius. And 3rd Hokage greeted me in advance, so the graduation application process went very smoothly. Yi Chen took the Konoha forehead protector and looked at it, but in the end it was not worn on the forehead but tied on the upper end of the arm. I don't know why, but I always feel that it looks a bit silly tied to the forehead. In this regard, Konoha has no special requirements in this regard. After that, he walked around again at the ninja school, and maybe he won't come back here again, because after stepping out of the school, he is a real ninja, who has experienced the baptism of blood and rain, the test of life and death, and is no longer an ordinary person. Surprisingly, Kushina doesn't seem to be at school today, so it seems impossible to say goodbye. Entering Anbu is not like being in the street and in the crowd at any time like it is now. When he got home in the evening, an Anbu wearing a dog face mask ninja was waiting there early. He saw Yi Chen and said indifferently, Yi Chen, I am the ninja who guided you to join Anbu, codenamed Tengu. After finishing speaking, he handed Yi Chen a set of Anbu black special costumes in his hand. Hello, Yi Chen said. Yi Chen, because of your special situation and you graduated early. So even if you join Anbu, you cannot immediately become an official Anbu member. If you want to become a real Anbu member, you must pass the Anbu assessment and be screened heavily, understand? Said Anbu Tengu. Understood, Yi Chen said, without showing any emotion. That is to say, he is currently an intern. The real Anbu members, who serve Hokage directly, accept secret missions, are not visible, and need to be familiar with too many things. For example, various passwords, various message exchanges, and so on. Every qualified Anbu has to go through a period of familiarity before he can be competent for Anbu's work. Come with me, Anbu Tengu said, and with a bang, Bai Yan appeared out of nowhere and disappeared in place. Under the moon, night, Konoha village. On the roof, Anbu ninja Tengu uses the body flicker technique to move constantly, disappearing and appearing. His figure is like a ghost in the dark night, which can't be traced. But behind him, there is a figure that is not slow. That figure always kept a certain distance from the Tengu, neither too fast nor too slow. The latter is naturally Yi Chen. For him, compared to using the body flicker technique, directly shaving is like a duck to water. He followed behind the Tengu, but wanted to see how many chakras the Tengu had to support him. The Tengu in front was shocked. He was the leader of Yi Chen Anbu. Knowing that Yi Chen is a genius ninja, he wanted to educate him based on the thoughts of his predecessors, so that he should not be proud, and also test Yi Chen's strength. I thought I could use the body flicker technique to get rid of Yi Chen, and then waited for Yi Chen to come to educate him in place, work hard and don't be discouraged. But now it seems that he just thinks too much. More than a dozen body flicker techniques in a row, even an elite chunin like him can't stand it. The key is that Yi Chen's expression behind him is as usual, nothing at all happened, instead he looks leisurely, admiring the color of blood, rather like admiring the moonlight. Seeing this, Tengu is gloomy and vomiting blood. Does this guy have no limits? No, just turn around again, I don't believe he can follow. This time, Tengu deliberately distanced himself and wanted to move back to the first level. But when he finished the instant, looking back, Yi Chen still kept a certain distance from him, not rushing or slowing down. PFF'd. Nope, no more chakra. Tengu jumped to the Konoha street and stopped. Yi Chen followed and said strangely. Tengu-kun, why come down? Wouldn't it be nice to float on the roof? Quote. Tengu was speechless. A hoarse voice came from behind the dog face mask, and said coldly. Walking is good for the body. After he finished speaking, he said no more and walked towards the Hokage building. Seeing this, Yi Chen couldn't help but burst out laughing. Tengu walking in front could naturally feel Yi Chen snickering, his footsteps paused slightly, his face darkened, but he returned to normal in an instant. This Yi Chen deserves to be the genius ninja named by the third-generation adults, and he is inferior to him in the accomplishment of the instant body technique. Konoha was very quiet at night, and basically no one could be seen going out. The two walked straight and finally came to the Anbu base camp. Konoha Anbu, as the name suggests, is also in the underground of Konoha in a dark place where no light can be seen. So its stronghold jumped almost directly below the Hokage building. Moreover, there is also a passageway connected to the Hokage building, so Sarutobi Hiruzen's orders can easily be passed to Anbu at any time. The place where Anbu was, though because it was underground, was dark and gloomy. However, there is an air of slaughter in the dark. Here, Anbu wearing a mask and wearing a black or white cloak hurried past from time to time. When you come in, some people are a little curious about Yi Chen and will take a look, while most people just ignore it and leave. This makes Yi Chen feel like a fast-paced city life. This is where the Anbu ninja mission is released and handed over. Here, it's a place to customize private ninja gear and training equipment, all for free. Here is the scroll storage room for all kinds of ninjutsu, taijutsu, illusions, and you can check them at will. The ring there is where Anbu ninjas compete. Tengu walked around Anbu with Naito Yu, and briefly introduced several departments to Naito Yu. In this regard, Yi Chen probably has a preliminary understanding of Anbu. Immediately afterwards, the two came to a secret room. The secret room was extremely dark, and the four walls were illuminated with candles. There are a row of wooden racks around the four directions, and various masks are hung on the racks. Dog face, cat face, white face, evil spirits, Rakshasa has everything. Being an Anbu is first and foremost about keeping your identity secret, and a mask is the best tool to hide your identity. You can choose one for yourself, Tengu said. Hearing this, Yi Chen turned around and looked at the various masks. In the end, he chose the blood-red Rakshasa ghost face. After wearing the Rakshasa ghost face, the hideous face looked extremely terrifying. Tengu didn't say anything about Yi Chen's choice. As an Anbu ninja, is his mental quality comparable to that of an ordinary ninja? After putting on the mask, Yi Chen had a feeling that he couldn't explain it clearly. It seems that he is no longer himself, because the mask has given him another identity. Anbu has no mandatory requirements for ninjas, and no restrictions on freedom. The only thing is to obey orders absolutely, be loyal to Hokage, and don't reveal your identity. Tengu reminded. Got it, that's right. Should I have a code name like you guys? Yi Chen asked. You are not an official Anbu at the moment, and you will naturally have your own code name and number when you become a regular. Tengu said, and then explained some more, and let Yi Chen transfer by himself. Anbu is very busy, and Tengu also has his own tasks, so it is impossible to follow Yi Chen all day. Yi Chen is also happy to be at leisure. Although Anbu's base is underground, it is not narrow at all, but rather empty. He came to the ninja tool area and saw the white piece of paper presented on the item shelf. The chakra attribute test strip detects changes in the ninja's chakra attribute. Check chakra attributes. An Anbu appeared elusive. Well, Yi Chen nodded, he was also curious about his chakra attributes. The Anbu took the chakra test strip to Yi Chen and said, put it in the palm of your hand and release your chakra. Yi Chen did as he did, and a blue chakra fluid appeared in his palm. The card first became wrinkled, then tore apart by a force, and finally turned into ashes and disappeared. It's actually a 3-attribute chakra, and it's still a destructive wind, thunder and fire. It's really amazing, the Anbu ninja exclaimed. There are at most 1 chakra variation for ordinary ninjas, 2 types for those with extraordinary talents, and 3 types are rare. The chakra that the ninja extracted by himself before learning ninjutsu has no attributes, and without attributes, he cannot release any ninjutsu. Xiao Li in the original book is an example. If a ninja wants to learn ninjutsu, he must understand chakra nature transformation. After understanding, learning ninjutsu can get twice the result with half the effort. The chakra test paper is to test which nature transformation ninjutsu is suitable for ninjas, so that ninjas do not have to take detours. In theory, as long as you understand chakra nature transformation, you can use all kinds of ninjutsu. Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, known as Dr. Ninjutsu, is such an existence. Because it is absolutely impossible for him to be born with 5 chakra nature transformations. Just like Hitaki Kakashi can copy thousands of ninjutsu, it is only after understanding chakra nature transformation that he can do these things. Through the chakra test paper, Yi Chen knew that he had the 3 attributes of wind, thunder and fire, chakra, which greatly broadened the scope of his use of ninjutsu, and also increased the types of ninjutsu he could use. Leaving the ninja gear area, he went to the place where Konoha Shinobi was placed. Ninjutsu Scroll Storage Room. The space is very large. At first glance, there are hundreds of square meters of space. There are rows of bookshelves, and scrolls of different levels are placed there. Ninjutsu is available from E to S rank, but the only ninjutsu open to Anbu is B rank and below. A-level ninjutsu requires Jonin level and ninjutsu that has made a great contribution to Konoha to learn, and the ninjutsu that ordinary ninjas can touch is probably around C level. As for why Namikaze Minato uses the A-level ninjutsu Shuriken Shadow Clone technique, 80% is taught by Jiraiya. Konoha stipulates that Jonin is qualified to teach students ninjutsu. The premise is that this student is a Konoha person, absolutely loyal to Konoha, the will of fire. It goes without saying how loyal Namikaze Minato is. If Yi Chen doesn't join Anbu, the only way to get higher level ninjutsu is to do quests, save credits and exchange them for Konoha, or have a famous Jonin teacher willing to teach. Take Tsunade, For example, she gave the magic power training method, and its value is even higher than A-level ninjutsu. And now joining Anbu, it is a direct force of Hokage. Yi Chen is an intern Anbu, but he is also qualified to read ninjutsu. Yi Chen saw at a glance that a large number of scrolls were stored in rows of shelves, and they were divided into 3 columns in an orderly manner, just like a library. The first row is ninjutsu, the second row is taijutsu, and the third row is illusion. Among them, the 5 nature transformation ninjutsu scrolls are the most numerous, and the following taijutsu and illusions add up to a fraction of those of the joninjutsu. At the same time, among the ninjutsu classes, there are detailed divisions. Various attributes such as wind, thunder, water, fire and soil are clearly distinguished. However, Yi Chen is not very interested in these ninjutsu. As long as master chakra nature transformation, everything will come naturally. The essence of ninjutsu is actually chakra nature transformation. Ninjas transform their chakra into the state they want through attribute changes. If it is wind style, he can completely turn master's Rasengan nature transformation into a spiral shuriken. Lightning style, he can directly train a Reikiri. Fire style, I own it. Sure enough, what kind of fire style can't be used? Yi Chen's purpose is very clear. He came to the special ninjutsu area, that is, the non-5 kinds of nature transformation ninjutsu. Shadow clone technique, B-level ninjutsu. Ninjas can obtain physical clones through practice, and gain the perception of clone practice. Yi Chen picked up a scroll to watch. The most important ninjutsu for him at this stage is the shadow clone technique. Shadow clone technique is created by second generation, which is different from clone technique in 3-body technique. Although they are all clone techniques, the clone technique in the 3-body technique has no entity and can be understood as a phantom, which acts as a blindfold at most. Silently jot down the shadow clone technique print, keep it in your head, and put the scroll in place. The scrolls here can only be viewed, not taken out. If they are taken to the outside world, they will receive a great punishment. In the original work, Naruto took away the sealed scroll that recorded the forbidden technique of all dynasties and was not punished, because the background of others was placed there. The big guys are all turning one eye and closing one eye, doing this on purpose. Don't think of anything else. There are special training rooms in Anbu. Each training room is separated and does not interfere with each other. The venue is extremely open. Yi Chen just learned shadow clone technique and needs time to digest this ninjutsu. Standing in the center of the training room, Yi Chen held his breath and said seriously, Hi, Shu, Yu, Shen, Wei. Shadow clone technique. After the seal was finished, a layer of light blue chakra appeared on the surface of Yi Chen's body, and this chakra continuously circulated and gathered from the meridians. Bang! A burst of white fog appeared out of thin air, and Yi Chen had a clone next to Yi Chen. At first glance at his own avatar, it feels a bit strange. This is not the same as looking in the mirror. Yi Chen looked at his avatar and said, I didn't expect me to be so handsome. Although it is shameless for the deity to say this, it is also true, and he is handsome. Said the clone. Hey, it's pretty good at talking, how do you know what I'm thinking? Yi Chen said, surprised. Although it is a clone, you and I are of the same origin. In a short distance, vision, thought, and experience are all shared. The clone replied. Since you know what I want, guess what I'm going to do? Yi Chen asked. When Yi Chen heard the words, his face changed. He raised his arm and placed it in front of him, saying, Armed color. Hardened. After speaking, the avatar's arm was suddenly wrapped by haki, and the black iron fist was filled with shocking explosive power. It's a surprise that Shadow Clone can also use armed colors. Does that mean I can use Shadow Clone to experience Conqueror's Haki? If that's the case, then don't waste time, let's practice together. Yi Chen said. Then he created a Shadow Clone again, and currently he has 2 clones based on the amount of chakra. One avatar practiced Conqueror's Haki, one avatar practiced Marine 6 styles, and he himself learned the magic scroll that Tsunade left for himself. He took the scroll out of his arms and undid the seal on the surface of the scroll. The scroll was spread out, with dense text and some cultivation experience written on it. The secret technique of strange force. The caster precisely controls the chakra, concentrates the chakra on the whole body, so that the whole body is covered with chakra, and then bursts out a powerful airflow, which can easily divide gold and gravel. After Yi Chen read it, he couldn't help but nodded secretly. It is not difficult to precisely control the distribution of chakra throughout the body. He has an observation haki assist that can sense the flow of chakra in the body and the movement of the veins. Chakra is all over the body, which is similar to haki. The essence of chakra energy can improve the physical fitness of ninjas. If a ninja can accurately spread chakra all over his body, his strength is indeed stronger than ordinary people under the increase of chakra, which is similar to the color of the weapon. But Yi Chen is strange that if it is so simple, Tsunade's strange power will not be feared by others. Who can resist Tsunade's punch in the entire ninja world? He must not be beaten to death. He looked at Tsunade's training experience again, and then he realized that the strange power not only covered the whole body, but also could be retracted freely and gathered a little. The power that compresses the whole body is continuously condensed at one point, and then it explodes suddenly, producing the most powerful and domineering destructive power. The core of the magic power technique lies in compression, continuously compressing all the power in the body, and condensing it into a single burst. A powerful ninja, if his power can be compressed 100% in one point. So even if he doesn't use ninjutsu, he can become the top existence in the ninja world. It's just that it really wants to reach the level of 100% compression force, which is rare in the world. In Tsunade's study of monstrous forces, this was impossible. Because the human body is fragile, it is not enough to withstand 100% compression force, or it will blow itself up. Even an existence like Tsunade, for now, is only about 40 to 50% of the compression force of the whole body. Compression force, it sounds like nothing, it seems to be very simple, but it is really difficult to do it. The first is the controllability of the ninja. For the control of the body, how can you judge how much power you have compressed? This series of problems must be solved. If there is no in-depth research on the human body, it cannot be supported at all. Tsunade is a medical ninja, so he is the only one in the world in terms of magic power. In addition, she was originally a Senju bloodline, a descendant of Ashura. The chakra in the body belongs to the yang attribute, has a strong life ability, and it is even more powerful to exert its strange power. 100% compression. How far can I do it? Yi Chen couldn't help thinking, and immediately began to practice. It is far better to be down to earth than to have high aspirations. The meal is eaten one bite at a time, and the road is also a step by step. It is recorded in the scroll that the first step to cultivate strange power is to control the chakra to cover the surface of the body, which is hardly a problem for Yi Chen. With armament haki experience, he quickly completed the first step with full body chakra covering the surface. The second step, compressive force, is the real problem. In the real Tsunade documents how to do compressive force effectively. This technique is called spiral strength, and through the force-generating technique of spiral strength, the body's strength is compressed and a little bit condensed. Spiral strength, this is similar to Rasengan. With an effective method of cultivation, everything will be fine as long as Anbu-like training. The cultivation time passed quickly, and a week passed in a flash. During this period of time, Yi Chen has been practicing with Shadow Clone, sharing experience, performing their respective duties, and making great progress. The strange force practice has achieved some results, and the control of the compression force has almost reached about 10%. And in the past few days, because he used 2 clones to assist his cultivation, he has not stopped. The experience value in the system panel is also doubled. Currently there are 810,000. This is the experience value accumulated through cultivation, and it is only a week. The speed is much faster than before. However, it is not enough to practice in seclusion all the time. Anbu has no restrictions on his actions, and he can now take on some ninja missions. With a thought, he left the training room. But as soon as he walked out the door, Anbu Tengu suddenly appeared out of thin air. He glanced at Yi Chen and said, "It's really hard work. I practiced in the training room for a week. With such strength at such a young age, it doesn't seem that it's not unreasonable." Currently in Anbu, except for Captain Anbu, only Tengu knows his identity. On the bright side, only third Hokage should know his identity. My cultivation strength has improved a little during this time. Do you want to learn from each other? Yi Chen asked. The strength of Anbu ninja Tengu is not weak, just bring it over to practice. Tengu was about to agree, but when he remembered how calm Yi Chen used the body flicker technique before, he dismissed the idea, but still said, "If you want to improve your actual combat experience, I have a good place to recommend you." "Really?" Yi Chen said. So the two left the training room area and went to another field. Anbu lives underground, so it has a large area and is very open, like an underground labyrinth. Tengu is an official Anbu member, and naturally he will not make such a low-level mistake. Along the way, I encountered many Anbu ninjas. At most, they just nodded, without saying a word, or even walked away, ignoring them. This is Anbu's law of survival. They don't know each other's identity, plus a mask. Even if they have enthusiasm at the beginning, they will become indifferent over time and truly become a killing machine. Anbu, also known as Anbu Assassination Squad, its main business is assassination, detectives of the enemy. Especially in troubled times, the assassin organization is especially important. Because they have long shouldered the beheading action behind the enemy, 10 dead and no life. After walking around, I finally came to an area, which was very empty, like a training ground for hacking. But if you look closely, it's not the case. From a distance, you can see two ninjas standing in the center of the arena dueling. There are also many masked ninjas watching around, but it is very quiet. "This is a duel," Yi Chen whispered, standing aside to watch. "Well, this is an internal competition in Anbu, there are no rules. Because you wear a mask and don't know your identity, you can use your ninjutsu to your heart's content, as long as you don't intentionally kill people and seriously injure people," Tengu said. As soon as Yi Chen heard it, "Isn't this the one who fights black boxing underground? But this is more formal." All the official members of Anbu add up to a total of 108, and they are divided into 3 teams, each captain being Jonin. Among them there are 36 Jonin, and the rest are Chunin, Elite Chunin, and Special Jonin. In order to motivate the ninjas to fight, the captain specially set up a dark list, and divided the ranking of each member through duels. Tengu continued. Then he pointed to a sign not far from the two of them. It was painted with various mask patterns and the code name of the ninja. Yi Chen looked at it, and the number 1 ninja code name was White Fang, which is the current Anbu captain Hitaki Sakumo, which is not surprising at all. Then the second ranked code name is called Hongyang, which has never been heard of. Looking down, the code name of Anbu's third ninja is Orochi. Almost instantly, Yi Chen thought of Sanin Orochimaru. This guy Orochimaru is also from Anbu, one of the former Anbu sub-captains. How could he forget this guy? With Anbu, you shouldn't be targeted by this guy, right? After thinking about it, Yi Chen suddenly realized. Orochimaru in this time period should not be perverted yet, so don't worry too much. However, guarding against others is essential. Yi Chen decided to be more careful in the future. "Would you like to try it out?" Tengu said, looking at Yi Chen who was thinking under the mask. Anbu, dueling arena area. At this time, 2 ninjas were fighting in the field. A ninja wearing a high pig mask is bigger than a normal person. His movement is extremely flexible, and he constantly avoids the shuriken attacks from his opponents. His opponent is wearing a normal cat face mask, and his body shape and appearance are also normal, and he can't judge anything from his appearance. The pig ninja and the cat face ninja come and go, the kunai in their hands keep stabbing at each other, the sound of metal slamming, sparks bursting, the whole silent Anbu can hear this sound. Everyone around he held his breath and watched the duel in silence. Maybe it's because High Pig is relatively large and flexible. At the same time, it is stronger than the full-faced ninja. In the close combat between the two, the cat-faced ninja is at a disadvantage. Bang! The two retreated with one blow and opened the distance. The cat-faced ninja immediately formed the seal, his hands changed rapidly, and said coldly, "Fire style, great fireball technique." The cat-faced ninja took a deep breath of air, his abdomen swelled in an instant, and he opened his mouth to spit. A huge fireball flew out of his mouth. There were bursts of heat waves in the air, and the temperature around him suddenly rose. I have to say that it is the Anbu ninja. The speed of this knot is indeed much faster than that of ordinary ninjas. The pig ninja didn't have time to react, and the great fireball technique had already approached his face, making it difficult to escape. But just at the moment of the close call, in the strange eyes of Anbu around him, One of the high pig ninja's arms suddenly expanded several times, turning directly into the hand of a little giant. The 5 fingers of this arm are spread out, and they are patted against the great fireball technique. Multiplying technique. Yi Chen couldn't help but say when he saw this scene. You actually recognize this kind of ninjutsu? Tengu glanced at Yi Chen. Yi Chen didn't speak. He didn't just know him. He watched Hokage every day in his last life. Doubling jutsu is a ninjutsu of the Akamiki family. The user can instantly enlarge a certain part of the human body, and even become a giant into a super giant. Independent of the 5 attributes, nature transformation, it should be regarded as one of the secret techniques. As we all know, in the ninja world, in addition to the 5 attributes of wind, thunder, fire, water and soil, there are also yin and yang, as well as yin and yang. According to the theoretical understanding, this multiplication technique should belong to the extension and change of the power of yang escape. If you learn expansion jutsu yourself, as big as you want, and then cooperate with armament haki, your power will definitely increase. Yi Chen thought to himself. Luffy in Pirate relies on rubber fruit to make his body bigger. Every time I fight with the enemy, the fist instantly expands to the size of a hill and then covers armament haki. It is simply incomprehensible. Just looking at it makes the scalp tingle. At this moment, the pig ninja uses the doubling technique to destroy the fire-style great fireball technique, and then uses the body flicker technique in an instant to come to the cat-faced ninja, where the fist bigger than the sandbag is there. The cat-faced ninja was in a cold sweat and said, "I surrender." The pig ninja won this duel, and everyone can see the power of the secret ninja. The cat-faced ninja ended, but the Heizu ninja still stood in the center of the field, and seemed to have a mind to fight. Around Anbu saw the power of the multiplication technique, but no one went up to challenge it for a while. You have a strange power, why don't you try it? Tengu said. Yi Chen glanced at the Tengu, and then walked slowly into the field. Anbu's ninja screamed, because Yi Chen's breath was very unfamiliar, and his Rakshasa demon mask was rare, and basically no one in Anbu wore this mask. They have speculated about Yi Chen's identity, but unfortunately even within Anbu, the ninja identity is secretly hidden. Heizu looked at Yi Chen, who was newly playing, with a puzzled expression under the mask, but he still formed the seal of opposition and followed the rules of ninja duels. Yi Chen also formed the seal of opposition, and then put on a stance, ready to fight. Everything is silent, no talk, no need for anything. Because there are masks to cover up, and they don't know each other's identities, they can rest assured. The high pig ninja moved, and 3 lily swords jumped out of the ninja bag and held it in his hand, and then threw it out violently, forming a straight ray in the air. Yi Chen leaned to one side, dodging easily. Bang bang bang. At the moment when the 3 lily swords were nailed to the ground, Heizu ninja used the body flicker technique to punch him. This shuriken attack is actually a false move, attracting attention, and most ninjas are used to it. Yi Chen guessed from the size and ninjutsu that the opponent must be the Akamiki ninja, and quickly analyzed its advantages and disadvantages. Apparently, this clan is good at taijutsu, doubling, and basically power ninjas. With this punch, the airflow of the air was driven, and a gust of wind hit the face. Shave. In an instant, Yi Chen used Marine 6 styles to shave, and, bang, disappeared in a blink of an eye. So fast. High pig ninja's face changed, only to feel a strong attack from behind. He quickly turned around and put his arms on his chest to resist. Bang! A huge force came from his arms, Heizu ninja's arms went numb, and his body took 3 or 4 steps back. Yi Chen also stepped back instantly, pulling the distance back. He didn't use armament haki in the punch just now, just pure physical strength. You must know that during this period of devil training, his physique has already quietly transformed, which is not comparable to ordinary ninjas. What a powerful force, said High Pig Ninja. I have discovered your weakness, you are wide and fat, and your speed is not affected by your body in a short time. But as long as the battle lasts, your physical fitness will decline, and your speed will not be able to be raised. You can only rely on the body flicker technique to avoid. Use that trick just now. Yi Chen said. Humph. I was underestimated. Heizu snorted coldly, and then his right arm instantly swelled and became incomparably huge, saying, "How dare you fight me head-on? Why don't you dare?" After finishing speaking, Yi Chen took the initiative to attack, using a shaving swoosh to instantly move in front of High Pig. Heizu waved the giant's arm and punched it down. This punch has an incomparably huge power, and there is a sound of wind and thunder when it is swayed. Armed color. Hardened. Yi Chen didn't dodge or evade, and even went straight to the pig. Boom. There was a huge roar, one big and one small, and the two of them kept their fists colliding motionless. Then with the two as the center, one after another strong white airflow swept away in all directions. The field was full of cracks, shattering like a cobweb, and the ground trembled. However, it wasn't over yet. High Pig's other arm instantly turned into a giant arm using the multiplication technique, and swung down again. Chapter 31. Boom. The air suddenly exploded, and a circle of strong airflow swept in all directions, the ground shattered, and even swayed. The surrounding Anbu looked surprised. What kind of power is this? Because of the doubling technique, the Heizu ninja can burst into a powerful force in an instant. But what is this Rakshasa evil-faced ninja? His body doesn't look strong, it even gives the impression that he is quite thin, and he should not be too old. In fact, Yi Chen's body is not thin, mainly compared with High Pig Ninja, it seems a little small. At this time, the two stood in the field, with their hands together in a two-pole manner. The strength is not bad. A deep voice came from behind the Heizu ninja mask. This is your power, Yi Chen said lightly. His words were calm, and he couldn't hear any emotion. What do you mean? High Pig Ninja was stunned, not knowing why. Yi Chen's arms turned at a strange angle and whispered. Spiral strength. He activated the magic power secret technique, compressing the whole body strength on the fist with the spiral strength, and the tightness was completed in just an instant. He stepped back, his arms jerked forward. The Hog Ninja only felt a sharp pain in his two huge fists. He hurriedly increased his strength to resist, but was horrified to find that his strength seemed to have encountered Uzumaki, like mud into the river and the sea, and was deeply shattered. Bang! Before he had time to think, his fist burst into the air, and the double spiral airflow manifested, and his body was already shaken out first. Boom! The High Pig Ninja fell to the ground, and the two arms returned to normal size, because at this point, the time for the multiplication technique was also lifted, and this secret technique could not withstand long-term consumption. The surrounding Anbu ninjas are whispering, the Heizu ninja loses. I surrender. The High Pig Ninja stood up. He looked at his arms. The cuffs were torn, and a layer of skin on the surface of the skin had been damaged, especially the scars that looked like twists and turns, which was indescribably weird. What kind of power was that just now, so strange? Yi Chen didn't speak, and then the two formed the seal of reconciliation, which represented the peaceful end of the battle. Ding! Experience plus 20 inches. Experience plus 50. Experience plus 60. Experience plus 200. ... After the battle, Yi Chen did a preliminary calculation. This battle added nearly 500 experience points to him, and the current experience balance is 1,310 thousandths. Conqueror's Haki at LV2 can already be upgraded. Yi Chen, who had tasted the sweetness, continued to stand in the field, and it seemed that he was ready to continue fighting. Heizu Ninja has a good reputation in Darkwood Expulsion and is in the position of 50 to 100, so there are not many people who want to challenge for a while. After waiting for a while, a ninja finally came out. This ninja is about the same size as Yi Chen, and it is unknown how old he is. He wears a red mask. There is nothing special about this mask, just a blob of red. The two came to the scene, did not speak, and formed the seal of opposition at the same time. Then the duel begins. First of all, the red-faced ninja came with a kunai attack, moving quickly, and breathing from a distance of more than 10 meters. He swung kunai vigorously, leaving a black arc in the air, and his moves were sharp, and every blow attacked the most vulnerable position of the person. Yi Chen dodged sideways twice, then punched backhand, neither dodging nor dodging, his armed color turned on, and he punched kunai with one punch. Collapse. Kunai was broken by the armed colored iron fist, and the body of the red-faced ninja was hit directly and fell to the ground. Did the battle end a little too soon? Yi Chen was vigilant in his heart. This was an Anbu ninja, how could he stay here without any strength? Sure enough, the next moment, the mutation suddenly occurred, and the body of the red-faced ninja turned into white smoke with a bang and disappeared. It's a clone. Yi Chen understood. Observation Haki warned, a crisis hit his mind. Ninja. Dark technique. A cold voice came from his ear. The next moment, Yi Chen's pupils shrank, all the surrounding scenery gradually darkened in his eyes, the light disappeared, everything was disappearing, and in the end there was nothing. It's like being in a huge dark labyrinth, as if abandoned by the world. This is an illusion that deprives the five senses. Yi Chen understood instantly. If it was an illusion that directly attacked the spiritual level like Uchiha Jiro did last time, he could use conquerors to rebound the illusion. But for the five senses vision, there is really no way to escape for a while. Call out. A sound of volley struck in the darkness. Yi Chen couldn't see that thing, but he could easily avoid it by predicting the direction by seeing and hearing. Then there were several sounds of breaking through the air. Yi Chen had already guessed what it was. It was a shuriken throwing. Throwing a shuriken in the dark was undoubtedly the most sensible choice, because the flight path of the shuriken could not be seen. It is impossible to prevent. It's a pity that the red-faced ninja doesn't know that Yi Chen has a sense of sight. Observation Haki is his second pair of eyes, which is even more useful than his real eyes. Faced with shuriken attacks, it is easy to dodge. This is far beyond the expectations of the red-faced ninja. If you have any other means, let's use it together. You can't trap me, Yi Chen said. The red face in the dark fell silent, seemed to hesitate, and then whispered. Ninjutsu. Gold-bound technique. After the words fell, Yi Chen was awake and had no abnormality, but his body couldn't move. He knew that it was the other party's illusion that interfered with the flow of chakra in his body. Rustle. Footsteps came from the darkness, and a shadow came over in the darkness. It was the red-faced ninja. At this time, a pair of red pupils appeared under the red-faced ninja mask, which was extremely clear in this darkness, like the gaze of a demon. Red pupils, no Guyu, good at illusion, maybe someone from the Yuhi family. Yi Chen thought to himself, although he was hit by double illusion, he was not panic at all. You lost. The red-faced ninja took out a kunai pointing at Yi Chen and said coldly. Yes, you shouldn't take the initiative to appear in front of me, Yi Chen said, twitching the corners of his mouth. What? The red-faced ninja didn't know why. Conquerors. Yi Chen suddenly opened Conquerors, and for a moment, he concentrated, his eyes were sharp, and Haki leaked. With Yi Chen as the center, Conquerors Haki continued to spread around. The dark world encountered Haki quickly retreated like a tide, and the world returned to light, but it was gray, and even the surrounding Anbu ninjas felt a burst of depression. The red-faced ninja and Yi Chen looked at each other, and when Conquerors hit him directly, his heart trembled. That kind of eyes is really terrifying, the shock of the soul, people can't help but surrender. He knelt down on one knee subconsciously, and he has no fighting spirit. Konoha Village, the sunset is gradually setting. Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen was working on documents in Hokage's office, while Anbu Captain Hitaki Sakumo was also nearby. Because the documents processed are exactly Anbu's resource approval, including Anbu member review qualifications, various types of ninja resource allocation. Sakumo, Yi Chen has officially joined Anbu, right? Sarutobi Hiruzen said while reviewing, taking a cigarette from time to relieve stress. As that kid, it has been arranged to enter Anbu, but after all, he is young and inexperienced, so I arranged for him to be an intern Anbu first. Hitaki Sakumo replied. Intern Anbu. Sarutobi Hiruzen was taken aback for a moment, then he laughed, which was not bad. Yi Chen's strength is extraordinary, but after all, he is still a child and has little experience, so he should practice a lot. To be honest, a large village like Konoha has never lacked genius, but there are very few geniuses who can really grow up. Why would you say so? Ordinary ninjas get too few resources, and they need to get resources by completing tasks. Especially in places like Anbu, who can enter the ranks of geniuses, all have the strength far beyond their peers. Genius, you are a little arrogant. This time is just to sharpen your character. Hokage-sama doesn't have to worry about it, Hitaki said Shigeru. Before doing the task, not in Konoha. He also knew from the mouths of other ninjas that Yi Chen was a genius, which was limited to rumors. But the more genius you are, the more you can't get used to it, let alone special treatment. This is also the reason why Yi Chen did not take the initiative to meet even though he had been in Anbu for more than a week. After all, he is also a cage-level powerhouse. To him, a genius is just a ninja stronger than ordinary people. Now what he needs to do is to observe and see Yi Chen's measure. Bang! Just then, a masked Anbu ninja showed up at Hokage's office. Anbu ninjas are different from ordinary ninjas. They use the body flicker technique to move quickly without going through the main entrance. Because, Anbu ninja has the requirement of high efficiency and quick action. As soon as this Anbu ninja appeared, he was half kneeling to salute Sarutobi Hiruzen and Hatake Tsukumo. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Hatake Tsukumo raised their heads at the same time and looked over. "What's the matter?" Hatake Tsukumo asked, because he was the captain of Anbu, so he took care of Anbu's affairs. "Captain, Lord Hokage, intern Anbu Yi Chen is in the Anbu base camp for a duel on the dark list. Currently, he has won 10 consecutive victories, and the duel is still going on." Anbu Ninja Report reported. "What? Duel in the dark, Yi Chen?" Hatake Tsukumo said incredulously. The dark list was created by him as a dual ranking mechanism to cultivate better ninjas. Those who can be on the dark list are definitely geniuses among geniuses, even in the 5 major countries. But just heard that Yi Chen has won 10 consecutive victories. How long has he been in Anbu? What you said is true. Sarutobi Hiruzen said slowly, taking a sharp puff of his bong and spit it out. "Don't dare to lie to Lord Hokage, now the whole Anbu is alarmed," said the Anbu. "Hehe, this kid really doesn't want to worry about it, accidents happen wherever he goes." Sarutobi Hiruzen laughed. Hatake Tsukumo had a solemn expression and said, "Master Hokage, your subordinates will withdraw first." Go, go." Sarutobi Hiruzen waved, wanting to see what Captain Hatake Tsukumo would do with this. After that, Hatake Tsukumo and the Anbu ninja disappeared out of thin air using the body flicker technique. Konoha Anbu, the duel venue, there are already dozens of people around here. You must know that Anbu is usually deserted and has no communication at all. It is rare that dozens of people gather together like now. At this time, the duel field is fierce. Earth style, Earth Dragon Bullet. A ninja wearing a black soil mask quickly formed a seal, slapped the ground with both hands, the ground shook, the soil cracked open after cracks, and the gravel flew around, followed by a 5 or 6 jong-sized earth dragon breaking out of the ground. This earth dragon bullet is already a B-level ninjutsu, but it is at the bottom of the B-level ninjutsu. The Tulong rushed out of the earth and roared, showing his teeth and claws, first entrenched in the air, and then swooping down. From a distance, it looked like a hill smashed down. Good come. Armed color hardening. Strange force spiral. Yi Chen first used moonwalk to jump into the air, and then his arm turned into a black iron body, tightly clenched, and he punched violently with white water vapor overflowing between the cracks, and also mixed with strange skills. At the same time, 10% of the compression force is released in an instant. Boom! One punch armed with eccentric force fist hit the Tulong head, and at the moment of hitting, the effect of armament Haki burst out, the space suddenly stopped, and the Haki field appeared. With Yi Chen as the center, in the area where his iron fist and the head of the earth dragon are in contact, black and dark red energy flows out all around, like black thunder and lightning. Crack! With one punch, the surface of the earth dragon, which is more than 10 meters long, cracked every inch. But it is earth style after all, famous for its defensive power. Although the black earth ninja was horrified, he thought that Yi Chen could only throw this punch in the air, because he had no leverage, and then landed. That was the best moment for him to control the earth dragon's attack. Moonwalk. Seeing that the earth dragon could not be smashed with one blow, Yi Chen used the Marine 6 style's moonwalk again, stepping on the air continuously with extremely strong foot strength. I saw a cyclone of Uzumaki appearing under his feet, and then he actually took a step in the air out of thin air to gain a leverage point. In the eyes of outsiders, this is walking in the air. How is that possible? The Black Earth Ninja asked in disbelief. Using moonwalk to step in the air, Yi Chen attacked again. The punch just now had already shattered the Earth Dragon, and it was definitely impossible to support him with another punch. Armed color. Iron Fist. With this punch, Yi Chen dropped directly from the sky, using a punching technique that dropped from the sky, directly slamming into the Earth Dragon 7 inches. The powerful armed color power superimposed the strange force spiral force without any hindrance and directly smashed the Earth Dragon to pieces. Shave. Yi Chen teleported, and a strong wind suddenly hit. When the Black Earth Ninja reacted, Yi Chen's iron fist has been placed on the door of Chi Face. If he resists this fist, it will be enough to shatter his body. I admit defeat, the Black Earth Ninja said quickly. This is already 13 consecutive victories. Who is he? There was no such person on the dark list before. This person may be invincible under Jonin. The surrounding Anbu has a lot of discussion, each with different thoughts, but there is no doubt that the exception is respect. Anbu was originally a hierarchical institution, and the strong were naturally respected. It seems that the experience value at a glance, 7,210 thousandths. Yi Chen did not continue the duel and was about to leave. At this time, a white-haired man walked over to the awe-inspiring gazes of many Anbu. Anbu fell silent abruptly. During the battle, all the ninjas consciously separated from each other. Whether they were alternate ninjas or full-fledged ninjas, they all stood up and saluted Hatake Sakumo to show their respect to Captain Anbu. Hatake Sakumo nodded lightly, waved his hand to signal that everyone needn't be more polite, then walked through the crowd and came directly to Yi Chen. This is the first meeting between Yi Chen and Hatake Sakumo, although Hatake Sakumo has heard of Yi Chen more than once. But Yi Chen saw Sakumo for the first time. Although Hatake Sakumo was still very young at this time, his flamboyant white hair was unique among Konoha. In particular, his face and Hatake Kakashi still have a lot of similarities. As expected, if there is a father, there must be a son. Captain, Yi Chen said slightly, with a respectful look on his face. As the captain, White Fang naturally did not wear a mask, so why did he need a mask to hide his identity with his strength? In addition, although Hokage in the previous life has relatively few descriptions of Hatake Sakumo, it is not difficult to see that he is a powerful ninja worthy of respect. The final choice between teammates and the mission is still teammates, and even the rescued teammates are wrongly identified. Therefore, he also suffered a huge fishing reel, and finally committed suicide due to the overwhelm. It can be said that the hero is short-lived and sad. However, there is another argument, of course, that is biased towards conspiracy theories. Rather than saying that Hatake Sakumo committed suicide, he may have been forced to help. As third Hokage's right-hand man, and his strength and reputation were even higher than Sanin's at the time, he might even become fourth Hokage in the future. Of course, some people will not allow these things to happen, so they can't sit still. No matter what the truth is, Yi Chen doesn't want to think about it. After all, he himself does not have the strength to protect himself in the ninja world. Don't be too polite. Hatake Sakumo looked at Yi Chen and smiled slightly. His expression was very kind, without the slightest coldness, but his eyes were looking at Yi Chen up and down, and nodded secretly. From the outside, it is almost impossible to tell that he is Konoha's White Fang, the one who conquered the ninja world with Hatake swordsmanship. It's really a blockbuster. How many games have you won in a row? Hatake Sakumo asked again. Sir, Anbu has many talents, and all of them have unique skills. The subordinates couldn't hold back, so they challenged the brothers. I was lucky to win 13 games in a row. This is because the Anbu brothers were merciful. Yi Chen said lightly. The so-called, stretch out your hand and don't hit the smiling face, means that no matter how talented or powerful you are, you can't be arrogant. For now, it is better to be humble. And currently working together in Anbu, Yi Chen doesn't want his teammates to stick knives on the younger generation. Sure enough, after listening to Yi Chen's words, there was a small commotion among those Anbu ninjas. Although they couldn't see the faces under the masks, they felt a lot better for Yi Chen. After all, people come up and beat you. Even if you accept it on the surface, you will feel a little uncomfortable in your heart. Hatake Sakumo heard Yi Chen's words, the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. This kid seems to be a little shrewd. The whole Anbu should be his youngest, but his actions are steady, and his age is often overlooked. However, this matter is done very beautifully. Anbu trainee members are the fresh blood behind the regular members, and they have the task of being on call at any time. Don't hide anything. I need to personally see your talent and potential, so that I can judge where you are in Anbu in the future. Hatake Sakumo said. He has a pair of extraordinary eyes and eyesight, and can find things that ordinary people cannot. Intuition tells him that Yi Chen has great potential, but this needs to be verified by him.
Quote question mark quote. After thinking for half a second, Yi Chen reacted to what Hatake Tsukumo said, this is to test himself. And as the captain of Anbu personally shot, it was really cool for him to fight this group of Anbu just now, but that doesn't mean he wants to play against Hatake Tsukumo. This is a real cage-level powerhouse, and his strength is not at the same level as his current self. In particular, Hatake Tsukumo is good at swordsmanship. According to rumors, as long as he uses a sword, it is like tearing apart the dark white light, and all the magic will disappear. Is Hatake Tsukumo trying to help them find their way back to Anbu's subordinates or has a bad taste in abusing geniuses? No, he might give himself pointers. The sparring and guidance of cage-level powerhouses, it seems, this is really rare. After a short rest, Yi Chen followed Hatake Tsukumo to the duel arena. There were still Anbu ninjas watching and studying. During the period of rest on the ground, the original dilapidated ground, the Earth-style ninja came to the venue and used Earth-style ninjutsu. Come on, shoot at me directly, use your strongest attack, no attack that you think can beat me. As soon as he arrived, Hatake Tsukumo stood in front of Yi Chen and nodded at Yi Chen. In front of such powerhouses, all the bells and whistles are useless, only real strength can speak. To be honest, Yi Chen doesn't feel that his current strength or any attack can hurt Hatake Tsukumo. Even using Mara fruit is still not enough. If you face Hatake Tsukumo on the battlefield, he is likely to be instantly killed. But cage-level powerhouses have rare opportunities to practice against each other, and he also wants to see how far he is from the top powerhouses in the Hokage world. Without further ado, just explode with full force. Shave. There was a bang in the air, and the ground collapsed for 4 or 5 minutes. Yi Chen, who burst out with full speed, like an afterimage, rushed directly to Hatake Tsukumo's right side, and then suddenly fell with a punch. Boom! Hatake Tsukumo showed a hint of admiration. In his opinion, at this speed, few people in Chunin could match Yi Chen. Of course, this kind of speed was not enough in his eyes, he just avoided Yi Chen's attack with a slight side. One punch was empty, Yi Chen didn't stop, and directly covered the surface of his fist with armament haki. In this regard, Hatake Tsukumo didn't fight back at all, but simply moved to avoid all attacks, which seemed to be at his ease. For the first time, Yi Chen felt suffocated, and there was a disgusting feeling that he had nowhere to go when his strength hit the cotton. Of course, after all, the level gap between the two is here. Yi Chen is not willing to be passive. Since Hatake Tsukumo can hide so much, you have nowhere to hide, so he simply does not attack Hatake Tsukumo directly, but bombards the ground with a punch. This is definitely a full-strength punch, using the LV3 armed color and the strange force of the 10% compression force. Blast me! With a bang, the entire Nuoda venue was shaking like an earthquake. With Yi Chen as the center, the earth shattered and cracked, and circles of white air waves waved around. Hatake Tsukumo was even more speechless. The ground on which he was standing was directly shattered by this strange force, and the rubble flew around. Even he had to avoid it. It's just such a violent way of fighting, it's really similar to someone. Boom, crack, there are hundreds of squares in the entire dueling field, and most of the area is broken, and no one is complete. And where Yi Chen was, a big pit with a radius of 3 or 4 feet was formed directly on the spot, and he stood in the air. Strange power. Tsunade gave you the power. Hatake Tsukumo recognized Yi Chen's fighting skills at a glance. Yeah, Yi Chen nodded slightly. This kind of destructive power is almost at the level of B-rank ninjutsu. Yes, the physical strength is like this, it's really amazing. Even the captain had to avoid the edge just now. The surrounding Anbu ninjas whispered, and Yi looked at the two of them in the field, and was especially amazed by the power that Yi Chen showed. The captain's skills are superb, and the body flicker technique is as fast as lightning. The subordinates can only use this method to make the captain have nowhere to hide. Yi Chen continued. How many times can you unleash such an attack? Hatake Tsukumo asked with a smile. As long as I want, anytime. Yi Chen said. Really, the battle continues. Hatake Tsukumo said, his face suddenly becoming extremely serious. Shave. Yi Chen came to Hatake Tsukumo's face in an instant, but this time he didn't dodge. Seeing this, he will not miss any opportunity. Even if the final result of this battle is doomed to lose, it must be fought beautifully. Armed color. Hardened. His fist instantly turned black and iron, and he punched Hatake Tsukumo in the face. It's just that this fist is still some distance away from Hatake Tsukumo's face. Is it a little too early to punch like this? However, the corners of Yi Chen's mouth twitched. Hatake Tsukumo saw this smile, and he subconsciously felt a warning sign, tilted his head, but felt a fist wind whistling past his ears. A strand of white hair beside his ear was broken and slowly fell to the ground. Silence, deathly silence. Captain Anbu had his hair broken by a trainee ninja who had just entered Anbu. Invisible attack. Hatake Tsukumo reacted instantly, slightly surprised, and his evaluation of Yi Chen improved again. Yi Chen was a little disappointed. He thought he could give Hatake Tsukumo a yawn, but he seemed to have avoided it. Armament Haki of LV3 can already use the means to hurt people from the air. Just because the level is low, the power is much weaker. But at this time, it can play an unexpected effect. Not bad, Hatake Tsukumo agreed. Clang, that was the sound of a knife unsheathed. Hatake Tsukumo finally shot. Hardly anyone could see how Hatake Tsukumo drew his sword. The white chakra short sword White Fang, as if appearing out of thin air, landed on Hatake Tsukumo's hand and then slashed towards Yi Chen. Yi Chen does not dodge or avoid. The armed color covers the hand, and greets the past head-on. There was an exclamation from the surrounding Anbu ninja, which seemed to mean he actually dared to take the captain's swordsmanship head-on. That's White Socks. It is known as the knife that cuts through the darkness, and it is invincible. Yes, Hatake's knife is either dead or injured, and no one has ever dared to take his knife. Just like the Leo flying kick in Ultraman, do you think this is just a draw? So wrong. Whether it was monsters or Ultraman, they didn't dare to fight head-on, they all avoided it, and only Mobius dared to face them head-on. At this moment, Yi Chen and Mobius have similar interests. Armed color covers the punch, he is invincible, giving Yi Chen great courage. Clang, an extremely crisp metal clashing sound came out. The terrifying chakra surged above the White Fang, with a dazzling edge that seemed to be able to split everything in two. This is Hatake knife technique. The extremely advanced method of chakra flow is used. A knife fell, almost invincible, even ninjutsu, it can be cut off abruptly. The wind was light and cloudless, and there was no sound, as if even the sound had been cut off. In front of this knife, it seems that the world is eclipsed. Yi Chen also tried his best to use armament Haki. Normally, the power of Haki is limited by level. But there are some exceptions, that is, when the mood swings are intense, the adrenal hormone surges, which can also increase the power of Haki for a short time. At this time, with a head-on blow to White Fang, Yi Chen's mind is one, his emotions are surging, his spirit is excited, and armament Haki exerts a power beyond LV3. I saw his fist and White Fang's blade collide together, and at this moment, the world seemed to lose its color. With the two at the center, circles of invisible energy fluctuations continued to sweep in all directions. The earth trembled gently, and cracks appeared out of thin air, like cobwebs. On the surface of the fist wrapped in the armed color, black and dark red thunder and lightning burst out. These dark red lightnings fell in all directions, and the ground was blown to pieces, and the rubble flew around. Even the Anbu ninjas couldn't help but retreat. Because of the momentum of the two, this space completely lost its light and became dim, and everyone felt suffocated. Hatake Tsukumo felt strange, he just felt that Yi Chen's power had increased a lot in an instant. Is it the power of Shuiji? Bang! But even so, beyond the performance of his strength, Yi Chen is too far behind a cage-level powerhouse. It seems that the armament Haki cannot be used continuously for a short time. Hatake Tsukumo also put away his short sword and inserted it into the scabbard on his back. Hatake swordsmanship, the name of White Fang really lives up to its reputation. I lost, Captain, Yi Chen said. He, yes, beyond my expectations. Besides, do you still want to beat me? Hatake Tsukumo smiled and walked to Yi Chen. Of course not. If it wasn't for the captain's mercy, my arm would have been cut off. Yi Chen smiled wryly, of course he understood that Hatake Tsukumo didn't use real power. Hatake Tsukumo looked at Yi Chen with a look of approval, and said, your strength is already at the level of an elite chunin, and with this special monster blood and Tsunade's monster power, even a normal Chunin can fight. And your fighting skills are also very skilled. To be honest, I don't have anything to advise you. Yes, but through the battle just now, I also discovered a shortcoming about you that is not a shortcoming. Captain, what's the disadvantage? Yi Chen asked. Your attack method is too simple, and most of your attacks rely on strange power to push horizontally. However, when you reach the level of Jonin, ninjas will master large-scale destructive ninjutsu, and your advantage will be greatly reduced. I personally recommend that you have time. You can develop some secret ninjutsu to match your strange power, which should be good for you. Hitaki Tsukumo said, patted Yi Chen on the shoulder, then walked away, leaving him to think for himself. In the arena, Yi Chen stood alone thinking about Hitaki Tsukumo's words. His attack method was single, and to put it bluntly, he had no nirvana. Because all of his current skills are supported by weapon color enhancement and strange power. As a ninja, how can there be no strong ninjutsu support? It is indeed the same. At the Jonin level, who will not know A-level ninjutsu, and there are even people who steal the forbidden technique and increase their strength. Some forbidden techniques can destroy a city in an instant. Like the later tailed beast bomb, Shinra Tianzhong, and planetary devastation, which is not a ninjutsu at the forbidden technique level. For a while, Yi Chen made up his mind. Anyway, he was still young and had time to study the killer ninjutsu, and there was devil fruit to assist him, so he wasn't worried. If Yi Chen wants to fight against them, he really must master his own secret ninjutsu. Bang! At this time, he suddenly slammed in front of his eyes, and a golden treasure chest appeared out of thin air. This surprises him a lot. He has fought against a cage-level powerhouse no matter what, so he has to come up with some good equipment. But still in Anbu, he did not open the treasure chest, but put it in the system space. I didn't expect your strength to be so powerful, beyond my expectations. Tengu Ninja came over and said slowly. The surrounding Anbu ninjas also gradually dispersed, each performing their duties. It's just the captain's mercy. Yi Chen said, neither arrogant nor impetuous, and after a few chats, he said goodbye to the Tengu. Tengu looked at Yi Chen's leaving back, and murmured. This person is a young genius, but he is not complacent. It is not the same as the arrogance and domineering that the clan said. It seems that some people in the clan have deliberately distorted the facts. Hey, sighing silently, the Tengu ninja disappeared into the darkness, and in such a big family, many things can't help but have too much helplessness. After leaving Anbu, Yi Chen changed his attire and returned to his humble little house because of the confidentiality of his identity. At this time, the moon and stars are scarce, and all sounds are silent. Konoha under the dark night is very peaceful, it is the only pure land in this turbulent era. Back home, Yi Chen took a look. He hadn't come back for more than a week, but the objects in the house were not dusty at all. Although there were not many objects, he still felt that someone had come here and cleaned the house for him. Who is the one? For a while, Yi Chen couldn't figure out who it was. I didn't even think about it. After taking a shower, I sat cross-legged on the bed, silently recited a sentence, and the golden treasure chest appeared out of thin air. With excitement and trepidation, Yi Chen opened the golden treasure chest, and all of a sudden there was a radiance, and a hot and sharp aura came over his face. In that treasure box, a simple black knife was quietly far away. This knife is about 3 or 4 feet long, with a long blade, a large arc, and no blood grooves. The blade pattern is a typical flame pattern steel burning blade, which is folded and forged. The handle of the knife has no eyes, no nails, and a carp mouth. And from the surface of the blade, there were wisps of purple demonic aura, which looked extremely strange. Knife. Yi Chen held the knife, his hand was cold, and his spirit couldn't help being shaken. At the same time, a message entered his mind. Yanmo belongs to the series of the 21st work of the Big Quick Knife, the forger Shimotsuki Kozaburo, known as the treasure knife that cuts to hell, and the Tianyu Yuzhin. It's actually it. Yi Chen was amazed in his heart. This knife was later owned by Zoro with a green head. Even among all the famous knives in the pirate world, it ranked in the top 10. You must know that this sword left scars on Kaido, the strongest creature on the land, and its reputation is not weaker than the Black Sword Knight of the great swordsman Hawkeye. And this knife also has a strange feature: it can absorb the master's haki without the owner's consent, and then turn it into a slash. Zoro in the original book just got this knife and wanted to try the power of Yanmo. He originally just slashed at the tree at will, but he didn't expect that this slash would even cut the tree and half the mountain flat. What? Yi Chen felt that his arm was different, but he saw that his right arm had switched to the armed color at some point, and haki kept flowing into Yanmo's sword god. The purple demonic energy became more and more intense, and the flame pattern on the blade surface, it seemed to be alive, but it turned into a black ghost fire. Sure enough. But I control you, not you control me. Yi Chen opened Conqueror's Haki, and from the center of his eyebrows, a coercion pressed down on Yanmo Dao with all his strength, and the whole cabin vibrated gently and the atmosphere was suffocating. Although his Conqueror's is not as good as the King in Pirates, his essence is still Conqueror's. Conqueror's open, all things surrender. Sure enough, Yanmo's blade trembled slightly, stopped absorbing haki and returned haki. I won't treat you badly if you recognize me as the Lord. On the contrary, if you are addicted to the Lord, I will definitely destroy you. Yi Chen said. Yanmo seemed to understand human nature. The blade trembled twice, and he was no longer a monster, and even the purple monster disappeared. It looked like an ordinary big sword. Call. Taking a deep breath and subduing this knife is a big boost to yourself, as well as a whole card. Put Yanmo on his side, and then open the properties panel. Host. Yi Chen. Abilities. Conqueror's Haki LV2, Observation Haki LV2, Armament Haki LV3, Tornado Profound Truth LV2, Shaved LV2, Moonwalk LV2, 10,000 experience points are required to upgrade to the next level. Fruit. Mera Mera Fruit LV3, it takes 10,000 experience to upgrade to the next level. Weapons. Great Sword Yanmo. Experience value 8,310,000. Quote. Taking a look, Yi Chen looked satisfied, and the battle with Hatake Tsukumo also contributed nearly 1,000 experience points to him. Upgrade Conqueror's Haki first. Yi Chen didn't hesitate, all Conqueror's Haki were LV3. Then, Shaved, Moonwalk, and Tornado Profound Truth were also upgraded to LV3. At this moment, 5,000 experience points were consumed all at once, and all of his skills were at the same level. After the level was raised, Yi Chen closed his eyes and realized Conqueror's Haki again, especially the effect of Observation Haki became much stronger. When he closed his eyes again to meditate, Observation Haki radiated out, and the range it could perceive increased a lot. He even felt the creatures out of sight, some cicadas, worms, birds and beasts. It was a very wonderful feeling, as if everything in the world could be seen. Not only that, seeing, hearing, and being able to listen to the voice of all things, and now with the improvement of the level, it blends with nature. His mind was completely empty, and he felt an existence in nature that was usually invisible to the naked eye. Wind, fire, water, all kinds of natural forces appeared in his perception in a strange form. Normal ninjas have no way to perceive, but now Yi Chen feels that he can communicate with these natural forces. Early in the morning, at dawn, the sun rises. Yi Chen woke up from the meditation and felt refreshed immediately. There was an indescribable comfort in his body, and his soul seemed to be sublimated. Seeing this, I couldn't help but recall the scene when I practiced meditation last night. Observation Haki upgrades to LV3 and has a new ability that allows him to perceive the forces in nature. As we all know, the general ninja chakra is accumulated over the years through self-cultivation. But there is another kind of chakra that is a special case, that is, the magic chakra. This kind of power does not come from the human body, but from nature. Under normal circumstances, this force of nature is not perceived by ordinary ninjas. Only the ninjas of Mount Myoboku, Shibone Forest, and Ruchi Cave, the three heritage places, can come into contact with the power of nature, that is, Shanju. Such as Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and later Yakushi Kabuto. The original Senju Hashirama can also enter the sage mode, but I don't know where the inheritance is. Maybe that is the ability of Ashura's reincarnation. Now, with the assistance of Observation Haki, Yi Chen can perceive the power of nature, and after a night of practice last night, it seems that there is a new power in his body, which may be the fairy magic chakra. The forces of nature include wind, fire, water, earth and thunder, but through human and human reactions, it becomes the magic chakra. The ninjutsu performed by the celestial chakra is much stronger than the ordinary chakra ninjutsu. It just seems that he doesn't know sage mode, so how to use this power, and the magic chakra in his body is still very weak. Observation Haki, you can listen to the voice of all things. All things also include nature, and it gives you the power to get close to nature and feel the power of nature. Yi Chen didn't think about anything else, but he had a clear understanding in his heart. Although he couldn't listen to the voice of all things, he was able to perceive the power of nature. If one day when his observation Haki is upgraded to the top level, then he really listens to nature and becomes one with nature, is it like the Taoist saying of the unity of nature and man? Using Sage mode in the original requires half an hour of printing time to buffer, but Senju Hashirama can directly enter Sage mode. Is there a possibility that Senju Hashirama's physique is close to nature? After all, his wood style is unique in the entire ninja world. I thought of a lot for a while. If my physique has reached the level of Hashirama, I can automatically enter Sage mode even if I don't have the method of the 3 major inheritances. If this idea is successful, then the improvement of one's own strength will definitely be a leap. It seems that we still have to take it step by step. For the time being, I can only explore by myself about Sage mode. Yi Chen thought and left his cabin. Because he is an intern Anbu, he does not need him to do many things about Anbu, and there are not too many constraints, so it is important to seize the time to improve his strength while taking advantage of this time. The improvement of Conqueror's Haki has reached the bottleneck, and it happens that he has obtained the 21st swordsman Yan Mo, which can be used to improve his swordsmanship. Yi Chen thought to himself that it is impossible to take out Yan Mo to practice just practicing swordsmanship. After all, Yan Mo's alien is too special, and he can't explain where he came from. So he decided to buy it. These days, he still has some spare change in his hand. It should be enough to buy a tachi. Just do it. All the way to the ninja shop. The owner of the ninja shop was very enthusiastic towards Yi Chen, because the forehead protector logo of Konoha was tied on his right shoulder. Even Genin's status is far higher than that of ordinary people. When Yi Chen asked about ninja, he showed a hint of embarrassment. Ninja sword, yes, expensive. Yi Chen counted his change, only half of it. Sure enough, no matter what world you are in, you can't do things well without money. Little ninja, if you are short of money, you can go to the task hall not far away to pick up the task, and you can earn a lot of rewards. The owner of the ninja shop suggested. Mission hall. Yi Chen muttered to himself, then said goodbye to the boss and went to the mission hall at the end of Konoha Street. The so-called mission hall is the place where ninjas receive missions. A place like Konoha alone has tens of thousands of ninjas. Hokage can't approve every task in person, so he won't be exhausted. In the original book, the Kakashi class took the task directly from Hokage. They are related households. This is impossible. Soon I came to the mission hall, which is actually the size of a small workshop, with 2 or 3 ninjas in charge, surrounded by a lot of genin and chunin looking for missions. To be honest, if Yi Chen earns rewards for doing tasks, Yi Chen can go to Anbu to get tasks, and the rewards there are definitely much richer than those in the open task hall. With that in mind, prepare to leave. But at this moment, he was attracted by a sudden noise. Why, everyone is also genin. He can take C-rank characters, why can't I? You are discriminating, you know. An extremely strong voice came from the crowd. Hehe, you, a genin who only knows physical skills, actually wants to take on a C-level mission. What's the use? Someone mocked. Ninjutsu skills are amazing, what's wrong with taijutsu? That thick angry voice came out again. I'm sorry, but knowing ninjutsu is amazing. Ha ha ha. Immediately, there was a burst of laughter at the door of the mission hall, and there was a roar. Physique, could it be? Yi Chen walked forward, 2 powerful arms swept away the melon-eating crowd. Hello, squeeze what? Where's the kid from? Yi Chen ignored those people, walked forward, and saw a watermelon-headed ninja wearing green fitness clothes standing there, but his face was red and his eyes were spitting fire. Might die. Yi Chen was surprised when he saw this person. I want to tell Lord Hokage, you are discriminating against civilians. Might Die patted the desk of the mission hall ninja and said angrily. If it's a general C-level mission, it's fine, but this sea-level mission gets too little information, and there may be battles, and its rating may return to B level or even A level. Otherwise, why are there so many tasks for this task? The reward, but no one picks up, you are the only one to pick up. The mission hall manager Ninja explained patiently, he didn't want to make trouble with Lord Hokage. Today's third Hokage is very concerned about people's livelihood. It's comparable to grade A, no wonder it's such a reward. Might's color changed. I didn't expect a C-level mission to be so dangerous, but the key is why the A-level mission is placed in the C-level, isn't this misleading? It's just that the task is dangerous, but the family is almost overwhelmed. It's not long after I married my daughter-in-law, but I can't make my daughter-in-law hungry. Might die as a family man, and if he doesn't work hard for a civilian ninja like him, the source of income may be a big problem. No way, he still fights for his family. Might Dai has always wanted to receive this special C-level mission, and he refused to give up no matter what. He has been arguing with the management ninja of the mission office. Even though managers have described the dangers of the mission, Might Dai still doesn't give up. Although the ninja in charge of the office looked down on Might for wearing this 10,000 years genin, it was a village after all, and naturally he didn't want to see him die. It's just that Might Dai kept talking in his ear, and even he felt irritated and couldn't help but say, "If you insist on accepting this quest, find a ninja who is willing to team up with you. In this case, the quest's reward will be half points. Even so, the half-point reward is equivalent to a C-level quest. If you don't accept it, then it's fine. Now, even if you sue him Hokage-sama, it won't change." What? Half? Team? Actually it's not impossible. Might wears a look of embarrassment on his face, and then recovering is better than not making any money. Then he turned to look at the ninjas around him, grinned at the corner of his mouth, and said with a smile, "Everyone, do you have a team? Hehe, who teamed up with your 10,000 years genin? Is it possible to turn around and protect you? That's it, what's the use of a ninja who only knows taijutsu?" A group of people talked a lot, apparently unwilling to team up with Might Dai. And the smile on Might's face gradually became stiff, and in the end, it was all tense. "You are being despised." The management ninja glanced at Might Dai and said lightly, "If the conditions for forming a team are not met, this mission will not be approved. I team up with you." At this moment, a calm voice came over. Everyone looked for the sound, but saw Yi Chen standing in front of the crowd. "Where did the kid come from? Is this where you came from?" "No, you see the forehead protector on his arm. He's a ninja, so young." There was another round of discussions, each with a different look. Might's eyes widened, looking at Yi Chen in disbelief. This kid looks so familiar, he seems to have seen it somewhere before. "Please check the ninja forehead protector for me." The management ninja set his eyes on Yi Chen. Hearing this, Yi Chen took off the forehead protector and handed it to the management ninja. In addition to a Konoha mark, the ninja forehead protector also has a very light mark number at the end, through which Konoha can record all ninjas. The management ninja took out the Konoha shinobi number set and found Yi Chen's information against the forehead protector number, and said to himself, "Yi Chen, number 1,314,520, Ninja School Competition Champion." After listening to the surrounding people, their faces changed. This is still a genius. The champion of the ninja competition, even in Konoha, is very ghostly. You must know that the ninja school has children from major families, and there are many blood follower limits. It is more difficult to win the championship in the confrontation than the sky. This boy who looks young is actually a champion. If it continues to grow, it will definitely be the backbone of Konoha in the future. Might looked at Yi Chen enviously. He had no talent in ninjutsu, so he could only practice taijutsu. He is the envy of the talented ninja from the bottom of his heart. Youth is so good, talent is so good. The management ninja respectfully handed the forehead protector to Yi Chen and said, "Since the two of you are in a team, then you meet the conditions for receiving this task. Because the task is special, I will give it to Lord Hokage for approval. You can execute it after the approval is notified." "How long does the approval take?" Yi Chen asked. It would be embarrassing if the approval took a month. "This mission is a special mission that can be communicated directly to Lord Hokage, up to half a day," explained the management ninja. "Fine, Yi Chen put the forehead protector on his arm and turned to leave under the gaze of the surrounding ninjas. Might Dai was stunned for 2 or 3 seconds, then chased after him, and said very gratefully. "Thank you, Yi Chen-kun. How do you know my name?" Yi Chen turned his head and said, in fact, he and Might Dai had never had direct contact, and the reason for teaming up with him was just a whim. Furthermore, there are only a handful of people who can be worthy of the word ninja in the entire Konoha. Currently Konoha's White Fang is one, and so is Might. They are all willing to sacrifice for their teammates, although this behavior seems a bit silly, but how many people can do it? It will be much easier to interact with this kind of person, and you don't have to worry about being stabbed in the back when fighting. Didn't the management ninja just say Yi Chen-kun's name? I didn't expect you to be the champion of the ninja competition. It's amazing, Might Dai said, admiring him very much. Actually, Might Dai is a ninja from the same generation as Konoha's White Fang, so it feels weird to see Might Dai adore him so much at this point. Of course, he understands that this is Might Dai's character, neither pretentious nor hypocritical, and it can be seen from the funny character of Guy in later generations. It's nothing, there's no genius. I'm just an ordinary ninja, but I sweat more than others. I believe that hard work will definitely pay off, Yi Chen said. Even if he got the system, he has been doing devil-style pervert training, otherwise his physique would not have transformed so quickly and so powerfully. Wow, does Yi Chen-kun also think hard work is important? Ah, my youth is back. Yi Chen-kun, you are so right. Might took Yi Chen's arm, his expression was so excited, as if he had met a confidant, his eyes were shining, and the corners of his mouth were cracked to reveal a row of shiny teeth. Yi Chen couldn't stand Might Dai's enthusiasm. He was afraid that he would be led astray by this joke, so he quickly said. Dai, I left beforehand. Is it going to training? It's really hard work, Yi Chen-kun. I can't fall behind, Might added to himself. Whatever you say is what it is. Yi Chen smiled helplessly, then said goodbye to Might Dai. Might Dai looked at the back of Yi Chen leaving, his eyes moved, and he shouted to the sky. Youth, sunset, you are so beautiful, it's decided. Run 100 laps around Konoha. After finishing speaking, Might Dai, swish, and started running and exercising with Konoha. Although Yi Chen is many years younger than him, age has never been a problem, and a confidant in life should die without regrets. He used to train alone, day and night. No one understands him, not only that, but also laughs at him. But Yi Chen is different, he said that there is no real genius in the world. True genius is achieved through hard work and sweat. I, Might Dai, must also let youth bloom with dazzling brilliance. Asterisk. Konoha, Senju clan area. In the retro courtyard, Kushina is cultivating the secret arts of the Uzumaki family, and the huge chakra that far exceeds his peers overflows his body, which is really embarrassing. Chakra's large volume, strong resilience, and special sealing techniques are the characteristics of the Uzumaki clan. At this time, Kushina was accumulating chakra. She sat cross-legged, her eyes were closed, her little face was serious, but her brows were furrowed, as if she had encountered some difficulty. The huge chakra finally calmed down after being restless for a long time. Kushina opened her eyes and said to herself, failed again. Arousing the bloodline ability of Uzumaki's words requires no distractions, Kushina. A kind and gentle female voice came from the side. Kushina looked up, and was facing her grandmother Uzumaki Mito, Senju Hashirama's wife. Uzumaki Mito wears a white classic kimono, and her red hair in a bun shows her Uzumaki identity. Although he is old, he can't hide his youthful grace. She looked at Kushina with doting and helplessness in her eyes. Grandma, I'm sorry, I've let you down. Kushina stood up and buried her head, looking guilty. Is it because of the boy? Uzumaki Mito said, a smile on his face. No. Kushina seemed to be a little girl who had been guessed, with a blushing color on her pretty face. Ha ha, that child is indeed a good boy, Uzumaki Mito said. Although he has stayed at Chinshui's house and never went out, he has heard of everything in the village. She is first Hokage's wife after all, and even the current third Hokage has to give her face. Grandma also thinks Yi Chen is okay. Kushina looked at Uzumaki Mito expectantly. Uzumaki Mito nodded. But this idiot, like Mew, doesn't understand people's minds at all. and has always put on a cold face, and there is often no news of him recently. Uzumaki Kushina said angrily. Uzumaki Mito is a past person, and his granddaughter's mind is penetrating, saying, "Not necessarily, boy. Some things are not as simple as they seem, according to our secret guard at the Uzumaki's house. This kid has been sneaking behind you several times until you have left until the door." "What? Why don't I know about this, Grandma? You didn't lie to me," Kushina said, her voice rising a little. "Of course, I can only tell you this secret since you've been in a state of flux lately," Uzumaki Mito said. "That's it." When Kushina heard the words, her heart suddenly warmed. This guy must be worried that he was being bullied, so he secretly followed him. But if you don't tell yourself, it's really duplicitous. In an instant, Yi Chen's image became taller in Kushina's heart, and a silly smile appeared on his little face. "People are geniuses at the ninja school, boy. If you want to get what you expect, you have to become excellent yourself," Uzumaki Mito said in a persuasive manner. "Well, I see, Grandma. I will definitely practice the sealing technique of the Uzumaki clan to stimulate the power of our blood," Kushina replied with full of confidence. What a fool. Uzumaki Mito looked at Kushina as if he had seen himself, and met Hashirama for the first time, the man who is called a god in the ninja world. Women like good and warm-hearted men, and they will be deeply attracted. Since Senju Hashirama passed away, Uzumaki Mito has not had much nostalgia for this world, but he has 9 tails sealed in his body, and he still has responsibilities to shoulder, so he has lived until now. During this period of time, her health was deteriorating, and there was not much time. She knew that her time had come, and she had to quickly find an heir to replace her. It's really hard for Kushina to take on these things at such a young age. It would be much better if there was someone who could give her warmth when she was in the dark. Hokage office. After the ninja from the mission office left, Sarutobi Hiruzen hung his pipe, took a puff, puffed out a cloud, looked at the person in front of him, and said, "Tsukumo, what do you think about this matter?" Hatake Tsukumo smiled and said, "Lord Hokage, a genius who does not experience blood and fire is not a true genius, and he cannot grow up. Let him go." Apparently they already knew about Yi Chen and Might Dai receiving the quest. In this world, there are dangers everywhere. How can you grow into an eagle that soars for 9 days if you stay under the shelter forever? Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded with emotion and took another puff of his cigarette bag. Yeah, and Yi Chen is not inferior to any chunin. It shouldn't be a problem to perform this task. After all, you need to walk the road yourself. And Genin Might Dai, I always thought he was not easy, Hatake Tsukumo said seriously. Might Dai, Tsukumo, even if you say it's not easy, there must be something special about it. Sarutobi Hiruzen laughed. Hatake Tsukumo nodded. He had eyes that could judge ninja talents. Although Might Dai was a 10,000 years genin and was ridiculed by his fellow villagers, he didn't think so. This person is practicing the most difficult forbidden technique, 8 inner gates developed by 2nd generation, which is suitable for the potential of the human body. This difficulty does not refer to the difficulty of the academic level, but the physical art itself. Few people can persevere. Even the 2nd generation, the creator of ninjutsu, has not succeeded in cultivation. But his intuition told him that this forbidden technique would shine on Might's body. The land of fire of the 5 kingdoms, the terrain is relatively flat and open, and most of Dunton is dominated by plains. The real estate resources are extremely rich, all because Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama used wood style and water style to create large tracts of forests and rivers. As time went on, the gap between the Fire Nation and the other 4 countries grew wider. It's not just that geniuses like Sanin and Namikaze Minato have been able to win the 3rd Ninja World War with 1 against 4. The most important reason is that the resources and heritage are far stronger than other ninja villages. Yi Chen and Might Dai moved forward. It had been a long time since they left Konoha, and most of the places they passed were dense forests, endless as far as the eye could see. It was not until gradually away from the range of Konoha village that the scenery changed slightly, and there were some mountains and rivers, but even so, the forest accounted for the majority. I don't know how much better it is than cities with harsh environments such as Iwagakure, the land of the land, or Sunagakure, the land of wind. Dense forests, towering ancient trees, towering into the clouds. It is estimated that no country can have such a huge tree in the land of fire, and such a towering giant tree also brings huge natural advantages to Konoha shinobi, such as concealment, assassination, tracking. Yi Chen and Might Dai kept jumping in the forest, and it took less than a day to track down their mission target. An ordinary caravan doing business on the border of the Fire Nation, with about 20 or 30 people, is a medium-sized caravan. In such a turbulent era, a caravan of this size is very rare. This is a C-rank mission, it's not difficult at all, you say, Yi Chen-kun. Might Dai sat behind the big tree and couldn't help saying. Thankfully, he thought this mission was special and there might be a fight, but he didn't expect to just monitor a suspicious caravan. After birth, you don't have to worry about life problems, you can focus on blooming youth with yourself. Don't be careless, Dai. Yi Chen said. He owns observation haki. Wei Wei senses that this caravan is very strange, although there is no strange aura, but observation haki's perception can't go wrong. Especially the LV3 observation haki, who endowed him with extraordinary perceptual abilities. Yi Chen-kun, you don't have to worry too much, we just need not to reveal it. Might Dai smiled, the corners of his mouth curled up, revealing his luminous teeth, looking extremely confident and extremely optimistic. Hearing this, Yi Chen stopped talking and continued to observe this possible caravan secretly. Finally, on the fourth day, he couldn't help but speak. Dai, did you notice anything strange? What's wrong? Might Dai asked. Yi Chen felt that he had overestimated Might. This guy may have extraordinary accomplishments in physical arts, but he seemed extremely rough in investigation, so he said directly. The first point is that this is a medium-sized caravan, and the world is not very peaceful now. With their financial resources, they can hire a few ninjas to protect them, but we have not seen any traces of ninjas. The second point is that according to the roads that the caravans have taken these days, they are basically small roads, not main roads. There are many thieves on the small road, and the official road on the main road has the guards of the Fire Kingdom. Isn't it safer? Quote. Before he finished speaking, Might nodded in agreement and said. Yi-kun said so. This caravan is indeed suspicious, are they spies? Yi Chen didn't speak, his face was solemn, and he said, there is one last point, and the most important point. At the beginning, I deliberately calculated the number of caravans to be 25, but now it is 21. Do you think there are 4 remaining? Where did the individual go? After wearing it, Might felt cold sweat all over his body, and said in surprise. No, we exposed. Whoosh. When the words fell, 3 black shadows suddenly appeared in the grass beside them, all of them dressed as ninjas, wearing forehead protectors from Mist Shinobi on their foreheads, holding kunai, and stabbing murderously. Hide. Yi Chen let out a loud shout, used Marine 6 styles to shave, teleported to the ground, and pulled away 20 meters away. Observation haki was turned on, and he sensed the sudden burst of powerful chakra from the caravan not far away. Come here. Because Might Dai didn't open the 8 inner gates, he just jumped on the ground in embarrassment, rolled on the lazy donkey, and was lucky to avoid the assassination. He stared at the 3 ninjas on the tree branches, all of them elite Chunin level, and couldn't help but look anxious. Yi-kun, run away quickly, I'll stop them for you. At this time, Might Dai regretted extremely. Yi Chen kept saying that the caravan was suspicious along the way, but he didn't take it to heart. He didn't expect the situation to suddenly reverse, and they were instantly surrounded and precarious. Hey, I thought who was tracking it, it turned out to be a genin and a little kid, is Konoha unmanned? A tall, thin, scar-faced ninja on the tree branch sneered, and the other 2 were also mocking. You can look down on me, but you can't insult Konoha. Might Dai shouted loudly. 8 inner gates, the first door is open. Second gate, Hue Gate, open. Third gate, open. The fourth gate was opened in an instant, and layers of scorching water vapor appeared on the surface of Might's body. From the inside out, the potential of the flesh was released. The fourth gate opened, and the chakra continued to overflow, and his appearance seemed to be covered with a layer. The blue chakra coat is imposing. This is Konoha's first-generation blue beast, not a chihuahua-like watermelon-headed kappa, finally making the power of 8 inner gates available for the first time. Might Dai, who opened the fourth gate, was close to Jonin, putting a lot of pressure on the 3 Chunin in front of him. Is this the 8 inner gates? Yi Chen looked at Might Dai. If he hadn't acquired the Great Pirate System, he might have gone down the route of cultivating 8 inner gates, but it was no longer necessary. Superior. Start 8 gate, Might wears high fighting spirit. Water vapor escaped from the outside of the body, and with a swoosh, he disappeared in place, and came to the opposite side behind Chunin in an instant. This speed is even faster than the general body flicker technique. You must know that the body flicker technique of the ninjas in the whole ninja world is definitely the fastest batch. The foundation of the body flicker technique is to have a strong body for support. Leaf Hurricane. Might Dai looked grim, and kicked out with his feet high, like a giant axe, and there was a gust of wind coming towards him. The scar-faced ninja never expected that Might Dai was so fast and powerful that his body was directly kicked, and he fell heavily to the ground, not knowing his life or death. Immediately, Might Dai moved at an extremely fast speed again, and saw an afterimage shuttle back and forth in the entire forest. All he heard was the whirring of the wind, making it difficult to capture Might Dai's figure. The two ninjas were back to back with ugly faces, watching out for Might Dai's attack. How could they have thought that a ninja who looked like a genin just now, suddenly burst out with power, and instantly dropped an elite chunin? Although there is an element of their carelessness in this, they are strong. In fact, what they don't know is that, whether it is now or in the future, the group of ninjas that Konoha can't provoke the most are those who seem to be genin. Yi Chen's eyes showed admiration. Might Dai's years of hard work turned into strength today, and it was destined to be a blockbuster. But thinking of the caravan that was about to arrive, his heart could not help but become solemn. It seemed that this task was really not easy. Just as Yi Chen was thinking, there was a small water stain behind him. Quietly, a ninja emerged from the pool of water. Without showing a trace, he took a shuriken and stabbed decisively. PFF'd. Success. The ninja said proudly. Ninjutsu lurking in the water. Are you Mist Shinobi, the fourth ninja who disappeared? PFF'd. The ninja's pupils suddenly dilated, and there was a sharp pain in his abdomen. An electric light pierced his heart. Thousands of birds chirped in unison, and he didn't even respond. He lowered his head weakly, but saw that his shuriken was still stuck on the child. Why was there nothing at all? With unwillingness, the killer fell to the ground. Ding dong, kill Chunin. Experience plus 800. ... Yi Chen killed this Mist Shinobi ninja without hesitation. His hands were full of thunder and lightning, and he looked like an electric blade. If anyone who knew Hokage saw it, they would definitely recognize it as Hatake Kakashi's famous ninjutsu, Reikiri. It is a pity that Hatake Kakashi was not born at this time. This ninjutsu has been developed by Yi Chen, but it is not too skilled. Because of the thunder attribute chakra, Yi Chen understands the working principle of Reikiri, so this is developed. Just like how he learned Rasengan, when Reikiri is activated, he concentrates chakra in his palm, and performs chakra's shape change and nature transformation at the same time, forming lightning style, making his hand like a sharp blade, to achieve the effect of killing the enemy with one hit, with strong power enough to penetrate the body. The characteristic is to focus on the thrust of a single point of attack. The requirements for ninjas are extreme speed, strong physique, and chakra control, all three of which Yi Chen possesses. The rest is a matter of proficiency. The Konoha Whirlwind. Leaf Hurricane. Slash. On the other side, Might Dai opened the fourth gate and also dealt with the remaining two chunins. To be honest, in a sense, taijutsu practitioners have a powerful advantage over ordinary ninjas. Of course, except for those ninjas who have the limit of secret arts and blood. Might opened the fourth gate together, approaching Jonin, and dealing with the three chunin was easy. Seeing this, Yi Chen secretly said that it was a pity. If the three ninjas were killed by him, he would have another experience point. Might Dai jumped down from the tree trunk, still keeping the fourth gate open. His body was like a rainbow, and he said, Yi Chen-kun, are you alright? I'm fine, but Dai, are you practicing 8 inner gates? Yi Chen asked. Yes, Might Dai admitted. How many doors can you open? Yi Chen continued to ask. Might Dai is also a sincere person with no scheming, so he blurted out, now that I have practiced to the 6th gate, I can barely open the 7th gate, but the price is too high. Yi Chen's face showed a clear expression, and it was almost the same based on this time period. When Dai Gen became famous for Konoha, he rescued his trapped son Guy in the Third Ninja War. At that time, he opened the 8th gate desperately, and instantly knocked out the 7 famous ninja swordsmen in the ninja world. Yi Chen-kun, let's withdraw quickly. At this time, Might Dai said. It's too late, we are surrounded. Yi Chen had an inexplicable look on his face. As soon as the words were finished, in the forest, several black shadows flickered, one by one stopped on the nearby tree trunks, condescending. In total, there are 9 ninjas, 2 in Jonin and 7 in Chunin. Hey, see this lineup. Even Might Dai couldn't help but gasp. This is really not an ordinary caravan, there are so many ninjas pretending to be and sneaking into the border of the country of fire. What do they want to do? It looks like a big plan. Yi Chen-kun, I'll hold them back, you can find an opportunity to escape quickly. Might Dai said immediately. Can you do it, Dai? Yi Chen said. Hehe, how can youth say no? Now is the time to bloom youth. Might wears full of confidence, and the corners of his mouth are markedly grinned, revealing gleaming teeth. But instead of running away, it's better to fight them to the death. Yi Chen disappeared on the spot, killing a weak Chunin. These people are all experience. How could he miss it? 1 month ago, he could single kill elite Chunin Uchiha Jiro, not to mention that he will have all attributes and skills raised to a new level in a month. Kill him. The 2 missed shinobi Jonin looked indifferent and didn't care much about Yi Chen. How can a child be strong? Their main target is Might Dai. This man's aura is too strong. As this youth, it's full of infinite vitality. Yi Chen-kun, hold on, I'll help you when I solve them. Might had tears streaming down his face, and he was so moved by himself. The 5th gate, Duman, open. The 6th gate, the King's Gate, open. Open 2 gates in a row again, opening the 6th gate in total. The breath on Might's body is even more violent. The dark blue chakra airflow has turned into dark green. The black pupil has lost its color and has become completely white. The hair is standing upside down, like a Super Saiyan, violent. With his body as the center, a strong airflow was blowing in a radius of hundreds of meters, and the trees were shattered. The 2 missed shinobi Jonin had solemn expressions on their faces. They didn't know 8 inner gates, because there were too few practitioners in this era, and since each ninja village was hostile, it was impossible to exchange information about each other. If Might Dai's strength was close to Jonin when opening 4th gate before, then opening 6th gate now is close to cage-level powerhouse. Now you are facing the dark green beast of Konoha who unleashes youth, Genin Might Dai. Might Dai said seriously. This is Genin. The 2 missed shinobi Jonin complained. A meet. Call out. Might Dai shot, his body turned into a shooting star, disappeared invisible, after images were heavy, and the air burst. Every time he stepped on it, the tree was kicked off, or the ground was trampled and collapsed. It was called a human bulldozer. Water style. Great waterfall technique. Water style. Water dragon bomb. The 2 Jonin launched ninjutsu together, all of them are A-level powerful ninjutsu. A big waterfall appeared out of thin air, a water dragon and a sea of clouds churned in the waterfall, and 2 ninjutsu combined to strike. The power is definitely not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Large tracts of forest were submerged, and this area became Wangyang. Might Dai had nowhere to hide, but he didn't have to. The flame of youth was burning, and he even rushed directly into ninjutsu Wangyang and was engulfed by the infinite current. On the other side, Yi Chen has a pair of 7 Chunin. At this moment, he is surrounded in the center. But the expression is not panic at all. Shave, moonwalk. In an instant, he used 2-leg techniques to get out of the encirclement, 1 foot in the air, and then his body swooped down with lightning speed. Armed color. Hardened. Strange force. Spiral force. His right hand turned dark black, wisps of white water vapor overflowed from the surface of his arm, his muscles swelled, 3 points more than usual, and a strange force condensed his iron fist. Boom! An iron fist of armed strange force smashed into the center of the ground. With his fist as the center, the dark red energy fluctuations turned into circles and continued to expand in all directions. The sky and the earth darkened, and it seemed to turn gray. This is the Haki realm where one's senses are confused. The earth cracked open inch by inch, and it continued to collapse downwards. Huge clods of soil flew like an earthquake. The center of gravity of these Chunin's body was suddenly unstable and swaying. Taking advantage of this time slot, Yi Chen made a decisive move. Time to kill. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.